Good morning, UST, and hello, Tigers. Hello, Uste. Good morning, everyone. Are you all excited for this morning? I can hear all of you. Are you all excited for today? Yes, everybody's more than excited. Good morning also to our esteemed guests, respected speakers, faculty members, and students. Welcome to the 5th Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum. Once again, a round of applause for everyone here. Thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be a very exciting morning and afternoon sessions with all of you. We'd also like to acknowledge the students and faculty members of Centro Escolar University, and as well as Thomasians joining us online. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much for being with us online. And also, everyone, again, my name is Robin Nambayan, and I'll be with you this whole day as we all engage in very timely conversations on uplifting communities through sustainable actions. Now, as many of you all know, the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum is an annual event that aims to inform and inspire audiences, all of you, not only to amplify the call to address sustainability, but also to actively engage and contribute to sustainable actions. Now, just last year, the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum highlighted that various organizations and leading corporations from different industries can create a shared vision that empowers the next generation, all of you right here, to practice sustainable choices. And this year, in this edition, the Manila Bulletin brings all of you a platform joined by industry visionaries from diverse sectors to share insights, share perspectives, and best practices in advancing sustainability. And of course, together with the emerging champions of sustainability, the youth, all of you here and all of you watching, we are going to talk about inspiring stories and initiatives that truly empower communities. All of those under our theme this year, Uplifting Communities, Sustainability in Action. Now, aside from the knowledge-filled conversations we will have today, you guys also have the chance to take home exciting prizes from our featured brand partners through our raffle draws. Our winners will be announced after our morning and afternoon sessions, so be sure to please scan the QR code you're going to see all over the ballroom to be able to join in our raffle draws. So right now, everyone, let's get down to business. Let's start this one. And to officially welcome all of you, please welcome right here on stage, Manila Bulletin publisher, none other than Secretary Sonny Coloma Jr. Good morning, Secretary.
In behalf of our Chairman, Basilio Yap, our President, Dr. Emil Yap, and the Manila Bulletin family, I'd like to welcome all of you to this event, especially our honored guest, Mayor Isco Moreno. Let's give him a round of applause. Good morning to all of you, our partners in advocacy, members of the academe, students, and colleagues in media. We are gathered today in the historic walls of the University of Santo Tomas, an institution that has stood for centuries as a beacon of knowledge, values, and nation building. It is therefore a fitting venue for a forum that speaks not only of sustainability, but of responsibility, continuity, and shared purpose. I warmly welcome you to this Sustainability Forum that is anchored on the theme, Uplifting Communities, Sustainability in Action. This gathering marks another meaningful step in our continuing commitment to environmental, social, and governance, or ESG advocacy. At Manila Bulletin, sustainability is not a passing interest nor a peripheral concern. It is deeply embedded in our mission and in the very words that define us as an exponent of Philippine progress. To be an exponent of progress is not merely to report on events. It is to help shape outcomes. It is to amplify voices that matter. It is to shine a light on solutions that uplift lives and protect our future. In recent years, ESG has emerged as a defining framework for responsible leadership, whether in government, business, or civil society. But frameworks alone are not enough. What ultimately matters is action, concrete, memorable, measurable, and inclusive action that reaches the grassroots. This is why our theme today emphasizes uplifting communities, because sustainability at its core must be felt where it matters most, among farmers adapting to climate change, among fisherfolk safeguarding marine ecosystems, among urban families navigating the realities of energy, water, and waste management, and among our youth who will inherit the consequences of the choices we make today. The role of media in this context is both vital and evolving. We inform, but we must also inspire. We report, but we must also connect. We observe, but we must also engage. At Manila Bulletin, we have taken deliberate steps to elevate the national conversation on sustainability. Through our coverage, our editorials, and platforms such as this forum, we seek to bring together stakeholders across sectors, policymakers, business leaders, educators, and community advocates to exchange ideas, share best practices, and forge partnerships. We believe that sustainability is not the domain of a single sector. It is a shared responsibility that requires a whole of society approach where innovation meets inclusion and where progress is measured not only by growth but by its impact on people and planet. Today's forum is an opportunity to move from dialogue to action. Let us use this platform to highlight initiatives that are already making a difference. Let us examine policies that can be strengthened. Let us explore innovations that may be scaled. And most importantly, let us listen to the communities whose voices must guide our efforts. As we engage in the discussions ahead, may we be guided by a simple yet powerful principle that progress to be true and authentic uplifts. It uplifts not just economies but lives, not just institutions but communities, not just the present but the future. In closing, we reaffirm Manila Bulletin's steadfast commitment to this cause. As the exponent of Philippine progress, we will continue to use our voice, our reach, and our influence to advance sustainability, not as an abstract ideal, but as a lived reality for every Filipino. Maraming salamat at mabuhay sa ating lahat.
Sustainability is shared responsibility and action. Thank you very much for that message. Manila Bulletin Publisher Secretary Coloma. Round of applause for him, please. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's all begin learning. Let's now have our quick overview and information about this annual activity of Manila Bulletin. May we now have on stage Manila Bulletin Sustainability Events Co-Lead, Mr. Philip Ku Unyeng.
Hi, good morning, everyone. After the speech of Secretary Coloma, parang there's nothing more to be said, di ba? But we will try to do our best to at least ask some of you people to still have some new thoughts in mind. And the first thing I'd like to do is ask you guys to have critical thinking throughout the day. I think a lot of times sustainability is something that people just feel is something that is a bandwagon effect, or people feel that they just have to comply with. Whereas we've really carefully curated the companies who'll be speaking today, and you will be able to see how a lot of them live and breathe sustainability in the course of their operations, no? As opposed to something like CSR, which is corporate social responsibility, and if you will understand and appreciate, it's often something that's done from the profits of a company after a year, but if the profits decrease, then there's not as much activity as in the previous year. Sustainability is supposed to be, as Secretary Coloma said, embedded in the operations of a company. No? So it's something that's been done with a lot of companies over the last couple of years. Some have been doing it for more than a decade. Others are still fresh in the game. But I want you guys to have critical thinking in terms of understanding and appreciating where they're coming from and knowing whether it's something that they're really championing and how you can help be part of that solution. No? Before I close, because I think there's somebody who'll be speaking after me who you'll be more excited to hear from. That will be Mayor Isco. There are just four concepts I just want you to guys have to think about in terms of especially what's going on today. No? So the first concept is self-sufficiency. We've seen what's happening with the Iran crisis, in terms of what's going on, and we have sustainability as one of the pathways towards creating self-sufficiency. So it's whether companies are really imbibing that and creating that scenario for us. The other thing is resilience. We are one of the most vulnerable nations. Whenever there's a typhoon, we are always reacting. We're never being proactive and preparing for the disaster. Whereas in other countries, you see there is a disaster that comes, but within a couple of days, they've recovered, economy is back in place. Whereas tayo, up to a week later, electricity may not have even been restored in certain communities. And so we have to also appreciate that there are companies who are trying to solve that issue and helping the government do that. And so those are the companies we should be also favoring and championing. No? Then the other thing is the circular economy. We've also seen also how goods and services are so dependent on imports. And so we have to find ways to really correct that here in the country. No? So the companies that are also doing that. Then last is governance. Governance, as Secretary Coloma said, is the often ignored Trinity member of the ESG agenda. No? We'll always talk about environment, we'll always talk about social agenda, inclusivity, and then governance is seen as just like an afterthought. When in fact, if you look what happened to the DPWH, for example, last year, there was really an issue with governance because it's from within how that organization, how that government entity operates and carries out its mission. And so these things, these four, self-sufficiency, the circular economy, resilience, and governance, should be part and parcel of how we're trying to create a solution for what these companies are doing and what we're trying to create for the Philippines in the future. And this future is your future. You students who are here today, whether from UST or CEU, it's your future we're trying to solve and trying to create a solution for, because you'll often complain about what's going on in the country today or say there's certain things that could be improved, or you look at the neighboring ASEAN nations and say there's so much more development there than here, whereas here it's sort of like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back perpetually. And so how can we create and stop that sort of pattern? And so these are the companies who are part and parcel of hopefully that solution. So I hope you'll appreciate them. So thank you very much.
So much to look forward to in our morning and afternoon sessions. Thank you very much for that, Sir Philip Cunyeng. Now, everyone, yesterday, Manila Bulletin Business Development Manager, Sir Jordan Tan, talked about how media organizations can lead sustainability conversations during the One IFRA Digital Media Asia 2026 held at the Manila Hotel. Now, his talk highlighted how the Sustainability Forum unites policymakers, industry leaders, advocates, and communities to address really urgent environmental challenges. Now, that shows that our Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum is now being spotlighted globally as a platform for advancing sustainability dialogues and action. And for that, can we all give Manila Bulletin a big, big round of applause for that victory in this landscape? Congratulations, Manila Bulletin, and thank you so much, Sir Jordan Tan, for spearheading that. And so right now, without further ado, allow me to please introduce our keynote speaker this morning. He is none other than our 29th mayor of the country's capital city of Manila. Last February, he was given due recognition by the Million Trees Foundation and the bamboo sector for his administration's 100,000 bamboo tree planting program as part of the city government's expanded efforts in mitigating flooding and promoting environmental sustainability. Right here with us to talk about the local government sustainability practices that uplift the Manileño community. Let us all welcome on stage Honorable Mayor Francisco Isco Moreno Domagoso.
Thank you. Nakakatakot sumunod dito sa mga to. Magaganda diction eh. Yari na naman ako, Secretary Coloma. But, hi. Good morning. Mukhang malapot pa ang mga dugo nyo, ha? Hi. Good morning. Wait, magandang umaga sa inyong lahat at sa ating mga bisita sa malalayo pang lugar ng galing. But I would like to greet first our friend, partners of the community, the city, and the country, delivering news daily. Isa sa mga ginagalang na babasahin sa ating bansa, ang Manila Bulletin, Dr. Emilio C. Yap III, President of Manila Bulletin. Sir, good morning. Secretary Coloma, of course, the publisher. Reverend Father Louis Coronel ng Universidad ng Santo Tomas. Michal Lagniton, Director of Public Affairs, Universidad ng Santo Tomas. And Mr. Philip Ko Unying, Sir. At sa lahat ng mga bisita at mga mag-aaral, ay magandang umaga sa inyo. Ipinagpapauna ko na. Isa po, alam nyo, nung nag-aaral ako, bagamat kulang na kulang ako sa sustansya, pero marami naman laging paalala ang magulang ko sa akin. Na lagi niya sinasabi, mag-aral kang mabuti. At ang sabi sa akin ng nanay ko, mataas ang pangarap ng nanay ko sa akin. Tapusin ko raw ang high school. Dahil pag natapos ko raw yung high school, hindi na raw ako magbabasa ng diaryong pabaligtad. Ganun nakataas. But it's not because ayaw niya ako magkolehiyo. It's just that hindi na namin yun ma-afford. It's a no-no thing for her. Hindi nakakayanin. Kaya bagamat kulang ako sa sustansya, masalamat sa Nutriban nung araw at sa Klim na tinitira namin tuwing umaga. Ako'y pinilit kong mag-aral ng maigi. Maswerte-swerte mo naman, hindi ko alam kung, ano tawag yan? Teacher's pet ba ako? Medyo matataas ang grado ko. Except sa isang subject, English. Kaya kinakabahan ako dahil ba puro Inglesero itong mga sinundan ko, pati yung host, Inglesera. But just for the sake of others, to accommodate, maybe may mga banyaga tayong nandito, baka dumugo ang ilong nila pag pinagpatuloy ko yung mother tongue language ko. But I'll do my best. Naipasa ko naman 75. Hirap na hirap ako dyan sa adverb, verb, pronoun, and noun na yan. But I'll do my best. But I am honored. Thank you very much sa inyo, as an organizer, inviting me, and sharing some concept of governance that we've been doing for so many months now. Again, to Manila Bulletin Corporation, to the administration and students of University of Santo Tomas, to our business leaders, policymakers, and to every young person in this room who choose to spend their morning talking about the future. Thank you again. And welcome to the conversation that matters. You invited me to speak about sustainability, and I said yes without hesitation. Bagamat alam ko magsasalita ako ng wikang hindi naman ako masyadong pamilyar, but I always tell what I feel and I think to somebody who knows how to write things. And in fact, even in actions and planning, I try to hire the best people around me in their respective field of undertaking. But I immediately said yes. Because sustainability to me is not something you discuss only at forums. It is what happens or fails to happen. When a mayor wakes up before sunrise and asks himself, what does Manila need today? What did I miss yesterday? Who fell through the cracks? Alam niyo, inaalala ko yun. Yung tinitwitter ninyo, yung pini-Facebook ninyo, traffic, posting tumutumba, kanal na mabaho, barado sa langis ng mga restaurants, and so on and so forth. Modesty aside, I look at it because it's somebody's concern. And that is the job. And I think one of the jobs of local chief executives. And that is sustainability, showing up every single day for people who have nowhere else to go. When we returned to office last June, Manila was greatly challenged financially, or if I'm speaking to accountants here, fiscally and physically. In every sense of word. There were mountains of garbage in the streets, literal, mini Smoky Mountain. Not in Tondo, but in front of España, Uste, FEU, CEU, Impaco, Ermita. It's everywhere at the time. There were billions of pesos in unpaid obligation, or what you call commercial obligation. There are two types of obligations in government. One, through GFIs, or through certain words in economics. The other one is the regular daily cost of operation. And these are called commercial obligation. Kasama na doon yung AP. Yung AP kasi IPP yan eh. Independent power producers or power producers pass through Meralco, and we owe Meralco 300 million at that time. Basic services had broken down. The city that is supposed to be the capital of this nation was struggling to find its footing. What did we do? We did go to work. We cleaned. We paid. We built. We hit the ground running on day one. Not metaphor, but literal. On the first hour of the day, in the absence of curtains and some papers that we need to function as office. Kaya wala na kaming sinayang na oras. Hindi kami pinanghinaan ng loob. We took our disadvantage to our advantage. Mas madaling maglinis pag madumi. Mas madaling mag-ayos pag mas magulo. Kasi you see the instant results. And good thing doing those things, you'll see also your failures and ayusin mo yung iyong pagkakamali. Try to be sustainable in our action. Kung may kasabihan yung sleep, eat, repeat, ano ba yan? Sa salitang kalsada, kain, tulog, gala. Meron sinasabi yung kami, wake up, work, sleep, wake up, work, sleep. That catching up of lost opportunity in the city. Kaya, I think a lot of people calling Manila masyadong mabilis kumilos. It's not because mabilis kami kumilos, because that's what you deserve as citizen of the city. Kailangan ang pamahalaan mabilis kumilos. Now we're here to talk about 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. No poverty, zero hunger, good health, quality education, gender equality, clean water, decent work. Sustainable cities reduce inequalities. I have gone through every single one of them. And I want to say something that does not get said enough in these gatherings like this. These goals are only as meaningful as the local government willing to carry them out on the ground. They do not implement themselves. They do not fund themselves. Somebody has to do the actual work. In Manila, in our own little way, we do our work. Good health and well-being. We opened the 7th hospital, and I challenge anybody in any forum. We, as a city of Manila, is the largest healthcare provider in the country as local government unit. Running 7 hospitals, 44 health centers. Just imagine naman. Kaya yung ibang mga kalapit bayan namin na mas mayaman sa amin, sa amin naman natakbo ang kanilang mga kababayan. Which we in Manila, we look at them not from somewhere else. We look at them as human being. Kaya yung salitang welcome po kayo sa Manila, hindi lang po panturista yun. Pati po pampasyente yun. As far as Batangas, Cavite, Laguna. Yes. We wanted to implement what you call the universal healthcare. Sa Maynila man lamang makakita sila ng pag-asa na sila ay matutugunan. And mind you, despite of we delivering healthcare to our people, we still need partnership with the private sector. Mamaya, pumunta kayo doon sa hospital, UST hospital. Ipagtanong po ninyo, partner, kahapon lang may nilabas na pasyente dyan. The city paid 400,000 for that patient. Ibig sabihin, kahit na malaki ang aming kamay, mahaba ang aming kamay, we still need and partnered with private sectors, katulad ng UST hospitals. We launched the first ever local government unit owned and operate cardiac catheterization. Ito na naman. Cath lab. Pipilitin kong ipasa sa inyo. Cardiac Catheterization Laboratory or cath lab in Hospital ng Maynila. We bought that with your taxpayers' money. It's a very expensive mechanism that conducts angiogram and angioplasty. Ang magagaling dyan sa public healthcare sector is the national government through Philippine Heart Center and PGH. Now, we as local government unit, we really invested into this during my first term. Ironically, it was not utilized for the past 3 years, or the moment kami ni Cesar, Chief Cesar, when we assumed, on the first day, I went. How was it? It's not functioning. It's not being utilized. So again, modesty aside, we hit the ground rolling and operated, train our doctors, partnered with UPPGH, partnered with the Heart Center, and happy to announce to each and every one of you, couple of dozens of patients were served angiogram, and 3 weeks ago, we successfully operated or conducted angioplasty. 2 patients. Cost to the patient, 975,000 pesos. Each of them. Binili ko ng nung barbula, yung stent. They call it stent in the medical world. It costs 975,000 to a patient. Total bill, 0. Courtesy of the taxpayer of the city of Manila. So, ang tanong ko sa sarili ko, pwede pala, kaya pala, that even the middle class and the upper middle class can now avail of public health care, can now trust public health care. Kasi pagka medyo may chapi ka, or may pera ka, siyempre, ang presumption mo is, I'll go to Maddox, Uste, St. Luke's, or, yeah, it's normal. But now, we putting more things, equipping our able medical professionals. And now, pag titingnan mo, side by side, delivering what the private hospital is delivering. In fact, 2 of my children, ginamot ng ospital ng Maynila. Yung bunso ko, at kahapon, yung anak ko. Natuwa ako sa nanay nila, dinala sa ospital ng Maynila yung mga anak ko. Kaya sabi ko sa kanya, are you sure? Kasi siyempre, I have to ask, she's a mother. Sabi niya, no, we bring it there. And I'm happy. Ayun, nakalabas na yung anak ko. So, why am I telling you this? Is that maybe sometimes in case of emergency, top of mind natin, of course, sa isang maayos na pasilidad. But we offer this to the people. Anyway, pera nyo naman yan eh. Kayo naman ang namuhunan dyan. Ginamit lang namin efficiently. Now you have an option. Now you have another chance, especially when you're economically challenged. And not only buying equipments. In fact, to sustain delivery of efficient healthcare in the city, we have to sustain also our machineries. A week ago, I just signed almost 200 million pesos acquisition of medical equipment. So we did not just put up a facility. We did not just hire medical professionals. We equip them. And we don't just buy equipment. We provide medicine. Yung buong ecosystem noong public healthcare ay pinipilit naming tugunan. Siya namang bagay na ikinalulugod ng mga pasyente. So far naman, pag tinignan niyo po yung ospital namin, para pong may pelikula ni Sharon Cuneta. Lagi pong blockbuster yung aming mga OPD and emergency. Marami po. Magugulat ka. Kahit gano'ng kalaki yung gawin mo. Ang laki po nung, I don't know if you've been to Hospital ng Maynila, but ang laki po nun. It's a 10-story, fully air-conditioned public hospital with so much open space, because I always believe in open green space. We don't just maximize space because we wanted to put up a building, tas bahala na si Tarzan. kung magulo kayo dyan. But we created open green space and spaces for people to, maging maaliwalas. But still, until today, even yesterday when I went to hospital ng Manila to visit my daughter, ang daming tao talaga. Ang daming nagkakasakit. Grabe. Magugulat ka talaga. So, we don't build, but also we invest to your health. Nang sa ganoon ay magkaroon kayo ng option. Second, quality education. I think mga batang is one of the going to be witness. Because across the street, you see that there is a building, a construction ongoing. Because that's what we did before, during my first term. Putting up, and I'm gonna reason out with you. Building 10-story, fully air-conditioned public school building. Why? Why build so big? My answer is, why not? Choke nut. And my reason behind is to be sustainable in such a way that we confront future problem, which is existing problem today and it's going to be a perennial problem in the next couple of years, which is the student-teacher ratio in a classroom. Population will grow, whether you like it or not, and a person born 7 years from now will occupy a space in a classroom or in that facility. And that's why you can see Manila Science, Albert Elementary School, Rosauro Almario Elementary School. They are ready for the next 15 years of population growth. In fact, to add proof to that personal assessment of ours, nung giniba namin itong magsaysay na katabi ninyo, tingnan nyo saan pumapasok yung mga atabs dyan. Doon, sa Albert. Imagine mo na accommodate namin yung isang school just to be there temporarily. And kung meron naman kayong mga kamag-anak, tuloy-tuloy na itong magsaysay, huwag na kayong mag-alala. Tumigil din ng 3 taon yan. Ba't ganun? Pag nawawala yung dating leader, nawawala na rin yung programa. Tama yung mga sinasabi nyo, hindi sustainable ang gobyerno eh. Hindi sustainable sa utak. Sa idea, mukhang sustainable. Pero sa utak at damdamin yata, mukhang ang mga leader natin, mukhang hindi sinusustain yung mga nagdaan. Alam niyo, what's ironic about this? Itutuloy na lang. That's the easiest part of being a local chief executive. Ang pinakamadali kong ginagawa sa lahat, mangopya. Copy-paste. Literal. Kasi may kasabihan sa English eh. Hindi ko lang alam kung tama yung grammar ko. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't fix if it ain't broken. Tama ba yan? Tama po yun? Ibig sabihin, kung gumagana, ipinakikinabangan ng utaw. Bakit ka pa mag-iisip? Di mangopya ka na lang. When I did that kind of concept of governance with regard to Singapore's growth through the leadership of Lee Kuan Yew, he did something that amazes. Nagugulat, sabi ko, that's the worst place to live. Singapore is the worst place to live. I guarantee you this. But that was in the 60s. That was in the 60s. But nakita nyo naman sila. So that's why it is very important that when you do something, pilitin mo na tapusin. Kaya this time around, huwag na kayong maglala. Ayoko na umalis ng Maynila. Nakakatakot eh. You know, the irony, another story of, side stories of this, is that the person, kasi ginawa to ni Lee Kuan Yew eh. The person, yung mga katabi niya, mga atabs, mga bata pa, train niya lahat yun. Train niya lahat. Lahat. Hila-hila niya yun, karag-karag niya yung lahat. Nilagay niya sa kanya-kanyang ahensya and secondary level position. No? Lahat yun, train niya. Kaya lang sa kanila, nakinig yung mga yun. Eh, yung sa akin, yung mga tinabi ko, gusto gawin yung sarili lang katang-isip, no? Or untested. No? Kaya umiiba ng landas. Kaya, kayo, pagdidiscusan nyo yan. Talagang, when there is something good and something that is, what is called, effective, and mapuputol na yung liderato, you must seek a person that will continue something that is beneficial to you. Hindi dahil sa, ano lang, yung, anong tawag yan? Mabulaklak na, anong tawag, mayroong word eh. Advocacy. Hindi nyo po may sasaing yan. Maniwala po kayo. It is the act. When you say something, you put work on it, show results. And I've been to a lot of billionaires, although ako isa sa blessing ko, nakakausap ako ng mga matatanda sa akin at mas matatagumpay sa kanya-kanyang sektor. Isa lang ang common na naririnig ko lagi sa kanila. Even your boss, isa lang ang common na naririnig ko sa. Results matter. It's always the results that matters. That's why we continue to build schools. And we will continue, despite of our fiscal challenges, we will. Harangan man kami ng tangke. Because ayaw ko na ang isang batang mag-aaral sa loob ng pampublikong paaralan nang gigitata sa init. At ang ayaw ko, yung teacher ko, na kukonsumi sa aming makukulit na mag-aaral dahil 60 kami sa classroom na tinuturuan niya at makukulit din kami. So these are the things that affects the quality of education inside the classroom. And there is science on it. It's not my idea. Binasa ko lang yung pag-aaral at yung pag-aaral ay may resulta at siyang aking kinopya. Now, recently, through the help, this is an idea that we had and shared it to the President. And I said, Mr. President, I have this idea during my first term. Gigibain ko yung ospital ng Maynila na luma kasi hindi na siya fitting to address the population today in demand. I have to create more space, more equipment, brand new and everything. It's lesser cost to maintain when it is brand new, which we did. Then, the next plan is to expand Pamantasan Lungsod ng Maynila because in Pamantasan Lungsod ng Maynila, College of Health at Allied Health Science or basta College of Medical School o Medical School, we've been producing top-notch students. Kalinsabay namin yung mga estudyante ng USTE. Pag makikita mo dun sa yung mga top 10, nyanggahan kami noong mga estudyante nila. And I said, but our space can only occupy a cap of 300. I have a dream. I have a dream to participate in nation building as local government unit. I want to produce more doctors and nurses and medical practitioners. Then I did. And salamat. I owe it to him in behalf of the people of Manila. Kinol. Ngayon, tinatayo po Pamantasan Lungsod ng Maynila, College of Medicine doon sa Quirino Avenue. from 300 heads. Now, we can produce 5,000 students under the College of Medicine alone. At pag yun lang ang unang mong titingnan, mukhang yun lang ang unang tumama. Remember, sinabi ng mga teacher natin ito, space occupied by matter, lesser space. If I pulled out students in PLM ground in Intramuros, I created a space. Then now we can produce more lawyers, more engineers, and other fields or expertise in the future ng bawat mga mag-aaral. So, you hit two birds in one stone. That's why kami, pumanatag kayo. Pag wala na kayong pan-tuition fee sa USTE, punta kayo sa amin. But not only that, last year, for the past, I think 2 years, no merong regulasyon ang DepEd to come up with other materials or teaching equipment in our primary and public education system. Grade 1, kinder. And we did comply. A little. Ample compliance. But this year, by June, 300 plus classroom. Before opening of the class, this year in our public education system in the primary schools, will now at least, you can say, 100% with ABP, audiovisual products needed in our classroom in the city of Manila by May of this year. Kaya fully compliant ang inyong pamahalang lungsod ng Maynila. And the recent and the most famous to some, yung ginawang Your Milk. Masama ba yung pangalan Your Milk? Oy, ano lang hindi ko idea yun Sabi kasi nung mag-aaral, nag-study, kasi I want to bring back what we received when we were young. And before lumabas, ito lang, balita, tingnan ninyo, i-google ninyo. Before lumabas yung DOH study of what you call stunting in the country, ito lang yan, mga, I think, a month or two, I saw data that there is stunting in the country. Ang Maynila bahagi ng bansa. So the assumption, the conservative way to approach it is aminin mo sa sarili mo, teka muna, baka may problema mga ATABs natin. Which turned out to be when I directed MHD, MDSW, check nyo nga yung mga mag-aral ko, true enough. Then fortunately, I attended a conversation like this through NDA, National Dairy Authority. I found out na marami palang gatas ang natatapon sa kalsada, sa farm. Kasi walang merkado or demand. Akala mo pagkaluluobin talaga ng Diyos, mamukat-mukat mo, malalagay ka sa tamang mailulugar ka ng maayos May problema ako, may pera ako, wala akong merkado, wala akong produkto. I was in a forum like this, then it turned out to be, boom, panis. Gatas sa farm. For the first time, local government unit acquired directly from a cooperative and bring it to Manila 3 times a week. Fresh milk to 21,000 students every single week in our daycare. Now, ano resulta? Mas makinis ang mga mukha ng ATABs ko ngayon. Mas masigla, mas masaya, mas excited. And with the result, because this is not just 1 week, this is a 90-day. The national government speaks of 1 month or 2 months. We, 3 months, 1 quarter. Para tingnan ko talaga kung may pupunan ko na rin lang naman, gastahan ko na ng maayos at makita natin na kung epektibo, which it did. Now, I'm happy to share, if you're Manilans here, by June, we are going to reach 60,000 students because we're going to elevate what we have started. From daycare, now we're going to go to depth ed or the primary education, which is yung kindergarten and grade 1. Kaya para tumigas ang buto ng mga ATABs sa Maynila. I'm happy for them. Decent work. That's why, nakikita ko kasi si SM. Ayan, si SM. Kasi sila ang magpapatunay nito on how your city is liberalizing rules. Because there's too much discretion. When I first became mayor, through the years of my experience, being a councilor for 9 years, being a vice mayor for 9 years, 8, sa mga ATABs na mukhang kasing edad lang ng trabaho ko dito, baka hindi pa kayo pinapanganak noon, 18 years straight, 18 years of my life straight was dedicated to public service and learnings before I became mayor. Kasi yung iba naman sa inyo, parang 18 anyos pa lang dito. 19 yung iba. Naintindihan nyo na yun. I've been in the government for so long that I've learned success and failures of leaders and organization. And that's why, during my first term, we introduced Go Manila. Go Manila is not your social app. Go Manila as like what my professor in Boston said. And I was there in 2012, taking up some courses, or what you call the executive programs. Tumusok sa akin yun. Sabi niya, professor ko po ito, hindi po ako may sabi. Sabi, during our class, we were about 50 in the classroom. Sabi niya, you cannot solve corruption. Sabi niya. Siyempre, nagmurmuring kami lahat. Lalo na ako. Kala ko ba magaling na eskwelahan to? Bakit ito pinag-uusapan dito? Sabi niya, you cannot solve corruption. Pero quit pala yun, hindi pala yun tuldok. Sabi niya, you cannot solve corruption. But the only way for corruption to die, its natural course, is you limit human discretion in government transaction. Pag yun ay nawala, naturally, without lifting a finger, you don't have to be a member of whatever organization to have good governance. No. You put a system that people will adopt. And later on, you'll see, naturally, mamamatay yung mga ganong uring, madidilim na karanasan natin nung nakaraang taon. That Go Manila is the product of that teaching. Kaya malaking bagay itong mga ganitong ginagawa niyong seminar kasi hindi mo malalaman sa mga isip at damdamin ng mga mag-aaral dito kung ano tutusok sa kanila. But with that, we came up with an idea wherein we tried. At first, the business permit, you go online. Hindi ka na pupunta sa City Hall. And you do the math. You want to talk about sustainability? And I'm going to tell you mathematics of it. There is a 100 square meter in BPLO. And there is about 50,000 businesses in the city of Manila. And there is about 365 days. 50,000 divided by 365 days minus 52 weeks times 2. Mga engineer. 52 weeks times 2 is non-office day. So what is the remaining days? Is the divisor of 50,000. Then you put them in a 100 square meter space. No wonder, even SM, our partner, from time to time, we utilize their space. And the victims of pamimingwit, marami yung isdaan sa Maynila. Kasi baha po City Hall, o may isda, pinamimingwit po yun ng mga fixer. Kaya sila na bibiktima. Ma'am, gusto mo mapadali yan. Ma'am, tulungan na kita. Sir, paktay, yari na. Turn out to be victims. That's why we introduced that. The irony of this is we fail. Oh, maniwala kayo. Sabi ko po sa inyo, hindi lang usaksasang ikukwento ko. Are you still okay sa kwentuhan? Okay. We fail. I fail. When we fail, I fail. We failed for the people to adopt. Oh my God, ayaw pala ng utaw yung online. Kasi ayaw nila magbayad ng online. Natatakot sila kung totoo o hindi. But again, adversity struck us. Not Manila, not Philippines, but the world. Pandemic came. Nauso si Shopee at Lazada. Because of change of habit in transaction, in private transaction ng tao, unti-unting natuto ang tao na ang pagbabayad pala ng online ay totoo, nangyayari. Kasi dati, biro mo, 50,000. Ang average namin in one quarter, my God, 300, 400. Now, because of that incident, that adversity, the pandemic came, COVID-19 came, people adapted to online meetings, online transaction, Grab here, Panda there, Shopee here, and so on and so forth. People realizing it's okay to pay online. And then, boom, the numbers. Saan kayo nakakita? Ito po, itatangos nyo ng ilong kung kayo'y taga Maynila. Saan ka nakakita bumabagyo? May dilubyo. Kumikita ang Maynila. Saan ka nakakita? Sabado. Saan ka nakakita? Holiday. Saan ka nakakita? Linggo. Kumikita ang lungsod ng Maynila. Because those people can now pay any time of the day. Before, after 5 o'clock, ito po nasa batas po ito. After 5 o'clock, hindi nag-extend ng gobyerno on the last day, penalize ka na. And penalties and surcharges of not paying on time. Now, you have an 11:59 p.m. And in the convenience of your fingertips. At one time, Paul, nomag ka. Kinita natin kahapon. Kasi minsan nagtatrabaho kami ng linggo. Boss, 37 million po nagbayad online. Boss, 17 million po. Boss, 5 million po. Paying online. Thanks to you. Thanks to the taxpayer believing in a system created by the City of Manila. Now we're going to assessment. Now we're going to make it bigger. And that's why Go Manila became an awardee. Anong bigay pa sa amin ng award? Mga international pa. But I think PCCI, I think Chamber of Commerce gave us recognition on our effort. Is it sustainable? O ibirin nyo na wala ako. O nga pala, nung nawala ako, kinalikot lang ng kaunti. Nagbigay yung approval and disapproval. Pero huwag kayong magalala ngayon, tinanggal ko na yung tao na yun. Because I really don't want anybody interfering in the system. And now we're creating another program that nobody can interfere in between. Kaya pumanatag naman ho kayo. Tuloy-tuloy nyo lang ang pagbabayad online. Mas gusto ko nagbabayad kayo online. Kasi para hindi na kayo matraffic sa City Hall. Hindi na kayo mabiktima ng kung sino-sinong mga tolongges na kung may natitira pa. So why is it very important to business to strive and excel at kumita? Because the more silang kumikita, the more jobs that I can offer for my people. Apakalang bagay. Kumita na yung utaw, yung negosyante, may trabaho yung utaw, dahil may trabaho, kumikita. Pagdating ng December 31, sa ayaw at sa gusto nilang lahat, there are only two things in this world that is guaranteed. Death and taxes. By December 31, tatanghod lang kami. Wala kaming gagawin bilang pamahalaan. Sasapuhin lang namin yung inyong ibabayad. So now, if your tax base is horizontal, you don't need to go vertical. Pag lumapad ang tax base mo, you can be static in terms of percentage and all other things. Because you can continue to sustain high cost of operation. Yeah. Except sa garbage fee nung nakaraan. Opo, mahal po magtapon ng basura ngayon. But I can safely and proud, comparatively, kami may pinakamurang tax base or taxes in the city, in Metro Manila. One of the, if not. Because I want business to continue to grow. And we grew by 9% in just 6 months. We grew by 9% in just 6 months. Bringing back the same policy, liberalizing rules, and limiting human discretion in government transaction. And coming up with technology that, cut down what you call involuntary donation. Sa mga negosyante, naiintindihan yung what you call involuntary donation. At dahil po doon, munti-munti ko kaming bumalik, magagamot. And our fiscal problem at 10.3 billion commercial obligation in our first assessment, about 5 years to cure. Now, I, your mayor, before you today, if we continue to experience 2 growths already, dalawang magkasunod na growth. From 9%, this quarter, we grew by 24%. Grew in such a way, efficient collection, proper. Piso, nakolekta, kokolektahin, piso, pumasok sa kaban ng bayan. If that will continue, our modest assessment is that by 3 years, sana talaga, panagpuna yung gastusin at kitain sa lungsod ng Maynila. But if not, don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, I'll do my best. I really going to do my best to achieve that. Next, reduce inequalities in sustainable cities and communities. Just last Saturday, your city of Manila, ito'y pangarap ko noong 2020. Hindi ko lang naituloy kasi Abril ko gagawin, diniklara ang shutdown or lockdown Marso. But I'm happy to share that the Summer Pride, the Manila Summer Pride happened last week with thousands of members of LGBTQIA community in the city of Manila, and non-residents joined the festivities. And this is our one way or message to everyone. Katulad lang lagi ko sinasabi sa aking mga what you call talk to the people. Sabi ko lagi, sa Maynila, walang mahirap, walang middle class, walang mayaman. Walang lalaki, walang babae, walang tomboy, walang bakla. Lahat kayo ay mamamayan ng lungsod ng Maynila. Pantay-pantay sa mata ng pamahalang lungsod ng Maynila. Your personal preference is yours, but when you are given a task to participate or part of an organization like the city government, you are always welcome and you can excel from it. Pantay-pantay ang pagtingin namin. And this is our message to the mothers and fathers of those members of that community. Na sa Maynila, pumanatag kayo. There is a safe space, safe place for them here in the city, whether they are working here or coming in and out of the city. Sa Manila, nangungutos ako sa prejudice. Lalo sa opisina, nangungunya. Ano mo dyan? Kaya mo siya. Because that's what you call respect to human being. And giving value, equal opportunity for any citizen in their respected or field of undertaking. Yun po ang aking policy. Kaya po sa Maynila, sabi ko nga, welcome po kayo sa lungsod ng Maynila. And we're gonna go bigger next year. Now, because a city that leaves anyone behind is not a sustainable city. Not the poor, not the sick, not the marginalized, not anyone. Manila stands for dignity, equality, safe space for all. And this is not an advocacy. We mean it. We practice it. Sustainability is not a poster in the wall of City Hall. It is not a well-produced video at a forum. The proof is in the streets, in the hospitals, in the classrooms, in the family, that now has a fighting chance because their government actually showed up for them. To the students of University of Santo Tomas and CEU, I want to speak to you directly for a moment. You are what the Manila Bulletin calls the future champions of sustainability. That I agree completely. But let me add one thing. Do not wait to be champion someday. Start where you are right now. Hold your leaders. Sinabi ko na to nung 22 eh. Ewan ko, tingnan nyo kung nasa YouTube pa to. Nasa commercial ko to eh. Mag-demand kayo. You should demand. Mag-demand kayo. Better services. Better leaders. It's not because yung jowa mo, crush yung kandidato. Dahil kaibigan mo, baka i-unfriend ka. No, you should demand. Ano ba ang uri ng leader ng hinahanap ko? Kaya, dumating sana nawa, loobin nawa ng Diyos, that someday, dumating yung maturity of us, you, knowing. May mga tao na, ano yung kanta? Sino ba kumanta? Balat kayo pala ang buhay sa mundo. Ano sino kumanta nun? Kapanahonan nyo yun, Secretary Coloma. Ha? Anthony Castello. You really have to be very careful. Oh. Eh ako, pagpapasensya ninyo, minsan parang magaspang ang actuation ko. I grew up that way eh. Pinilit ko namang lihain ang sarili ko. No? Pinipilit ko lihain. Tama, nakakapag-English nga ako. Gumaganda-ganda na yung diction ko sa iba. Oh. Practice makes perfect. Mahirap kasi magkasunod yung P sa F. Yeah. But kidding aside, I really want you guys. Kasi you'll be the next mother. You're going to be the next father, the next business owner, the next doctor, the next professionals. You're going to be the next. Una-una lang yan. Yung iba dito, konti na nga lang ang birthday eh. Tatabi kami. Magpapantay ang paa namin. And you're going to be the next. Kaya, magsuri kayo. Don't just be a member of something just because nyangga kayo nung bechi mo o bekshi mo o nung bestie mo. No, be your own. You can be friends, you can be involved, but yung individuality, napakahalaga po nun. Kasi doon po maraming naliligaw. Sama-sama tayo. Tapos pag may concert na, patay na. Yari na naman kaming mga walang tsansa. Ganun yun. Yan po ang bagay na tingin kong kailangan nyong i-demand. Kasi alam nyo po bakit? Hindi nyo nakita yung Facebook ko. Okay, I'm about to end. But I have to share something. Why am I utilizing social media? The initial commentaries will be, gusto mo sumikat. Unang-una po, marami naman politikong sikat na eh. Unang-una, naboto nga eh. Kung hindi ba naman sikat yun, hindi maboboto yun. Kung hindi siya kilala ng tao. Pero sa totoo, deep inside, and I think a lot of leaders that I've spoke with, tama naman yung grammar ko, no? Na kinausap ko, social media, which yung professor ko po kasi yung founder ng LinkedIn when I was in Boston. So I was taught of this in 2012 pa. Sabi niya, it's free. But if you look at it differently, you can utilize social media as a form of communication and making yourself closer to the people. If you open yourself to these sensible people, hindi troll, hindi coops, but sensible people in the community, if you engage them, it teaches you to be a better leader every single day because people are demanding good services. Problems needs to be addressed, and so on and so on. So the only space in between the people and the government is the glass in your phone. Kaya lang, may downside. May downside po yun. Ang downside po nun, masakit sa katawan sa leader. Kasi you're gonna do a lot of readings, a lot of Yan ang gamit namin. That's why I created MPIO, even their page. I created Talk to the People. I created Your Mess Hour. I created posting. You know why? It's not for everyone. Oy, ito yung ginagawa namin. It's just telling you guys, and even somebody who shared an idea with us na, nga pala, ito yung sinabi mong posting tagilid. Thank you, netizen. Kaya yung mga tolongges, takot na takot sa akin eh. Yung mga kriminal sa Maynila, ninenervyo sa akin. Alam nyo bakit? 2 milyon ng CCTV sa Maynila eh. Dumating na kami sa point na ang CCTV namin ay taong bayan. Because people start believing in this government that when they send a particular data to our pages, we protect those citizens and we do what we should be doing, enforcing. And pumanatag kayo, may nakita pa akong madre doon, andito yata si Father, pumanatag kayo. Kakalawitin namin sila. I don't care spending every single cent of taxpayers' money to capture all those criminals, petty crimes, and so on and so forth. Capture them alive and bring them to justice. Because it is not for me to decide whether this person is guilty or not. My job is to enforce. My job is to keep the peace and order situation at bay. My job is maging maaliwalas at panatag ang pamumuhay sa Maynila. My job is to prevent. If I fail to prevent, We make them pay. We bring them to justice. We deliver justice to the victim. And I will let si judge o yung husgado ang magpasya o kung sila ay may sala o wala. And that is what we are using, that social media. At yun ay magagamit ninyo. Ilan na ba estudyante ng UST ang naagawan ng cellphone sa Espanya? Ilan na ba nadukutan sa inyo? Sa FEU, sa CEU, and so on and so forth. Pero tingnan niyo ngayon, kahit Solving Boy dito, kinakabahan sa amin. We're not a perfect government. Petty crimes will continue to happen. And I hope someday makarating kayo sa Paris. And I'm gonna say it publicly. That's the worst place. Paris is the worst place to visit. May mga makaka-relate sa akin dito. But someday you're gonna go there. I'm gonna tell you straight. You think, Tondo? Challenging? Nako, niwala kami sa kulangot. Sa kaguluhan ng mga magnanakaw sa Paris. You know how dangerous Paris is? You fall in line, Hermes, Chanel, di ba pila-pila? Paatik din to mga tindahan na ito eh, yung pasabik. Pwede ka naman pumasok, no, we cannot occupy you, there's only... Pero doon ka sa labas. O doon ka mismo agawan. And the police will never, ever attend to your situation. You know why? We're busy of other things. Nakarinig pa ako sa isang pulis eh. You went here eh. It's your fault. Wow. Totoo to. Kaya na-invento yung yung isang bag na yung hindi mahiwa-hiwa. There's a brand because of Paris. That's the worst place. I love Paris architecturally. But I will never go like a normal day. Gusto kong mamasyal. Doon na lang ako sa Amsterdam. Chill-chill lang kami doon sa Amsterdam eh. You know, I tried to understand places, cultures, and customs on what I can adopt in our city. In Paris, hold up, snatching ang abuti mo. Pag pumalag ka, kulata ang abuti mo. Sa Maynila, subukan mo ng ganyan. Magtago ka na sa lelang mong panot. Lahat ng kuweba, hanapin mo na sa buong Pilipinas. I don't care apprehending you 3 hours after, 5 hours after, 2 years after, 5 years after. I really don't care. I'm gonna go after you. And I'll make it to a point wherein your 3,000 pesos worth of pagsanla ng cellphone ng estudyante ng bata is not worth it doing it in Manila. That is a commitment and a promise. There, oh my God, good luck sa inyo. Marami yan. I'm not bad-mouthing Paris, but that's true. I'm stating the facts. So, ibig sabihin, crimes can happen anywhere in the world, but here in Manila, we will continue. We will continue and do our best to enforce our laws in the city and to create certainty in the city of Manila. Kaya yan ay yung pag may nakikita kayo, yung page ko naman, may check yun, di ba? May ano naman yun eh, may tawag doon. O kaya sa MPIO, mga confirmed pages, you go send it there, and I'll do my best to do our job well. So, muli sa inyong lahat, bilang panghuli, I will summarize everything in 3-letter word, or 3 letters. It's not even a word. Mali na naman ako, sabi ng teacher ko, tanga ka talaga. It's just 3-letter. MBN. Maraming salamat sa teacher ko sa NCPAG when I was there. MBN. Doon nakatuon. Our little resources as city government of Manila will continue to invest great sum of our little resources to MBN. Minimum basic needs. Housing, education, healthcare, and jobs. Why? O, tingnan ninyo yung ano ninyo. yung ginawa niyong ano ngayon, team, Uplifting Community. MBN. Pag mataas ang antas or quality of life ng tao. Kasi hindi ko kayo kayang payamanin. That I cannot give you. Hindi po ako lotto outlet. I cannot do that, I promise. I cannot. But what I can do as government is pataasin ang antas ng pamumuhay ng tao. Ang tao ay may masisilungan, may kapanatagan. Kumulat bumagyo, magkaroon ng dilubyo, may mauwian. Yung tatay papasok sa trabaho at makapaghahanap buhay. Ganon din maarahay lang nanay. Yung atabs papasok sa eskwela na maayos na eskwelahan. Pag ang pamilya nagkasakit, may maayos na ospital. Yung pagsagot sa asignatura, trabaho mo yun. Yung pagpasok sa trabaho, trabaho mo yun. If I can give this basic that surrounds a family's needs, yung pangangailangan, pangunahing pangangailangan ng isang pamilya, then naturally, tataas ang kalidad ng pamumuhay ng tao. Now, yun yung pakbet. Yun yung sitaw, yun yung rekado. Yung pampasarap ng rekado, o umami, that's why you've been hearing City of Manila going and reclaiming open space and convert it into open green space. You've heard, doon sa nag-introduce kanina, na we are building, creating, and going to plant 100,000 bamboo trees in the City of Manila. One, something to do with flood, but portion of it. But I want to make it cooler because there is already science on it. More shades in a highly urbanized city is more maaliwalas. O, tapos, ito ang the best. Ito ang suma total ng pinakamagandang epekto niyan. We have an AQM in the city. Air quality machine given to us by DNR during my first term. Still functioning. Because I want to have at least passing average or above average of good air quality in the city of Manila. It is hard to achieve because every single day we're going to be challenged by España, Quiapo, or Commonwealth, Quiapo, or Baclaran, Commonwealth, via España, via Top Avenue, and the entire 4,000 trucks coming in and out of Port of Manila with loaded and unloaded trucks. That produces so much carbon in the air, and that's why I'm going to confront it. Because you deserve to have a better air quality in a highly urbanized setting like the city of Manila. And that we are going to deliver this year of those 100,000 bamboos in the city. In the coming few weeks, what we have started in a few months ago, we will deliver the first ever pet park in the city. Yung malaalikabok na nakikita nyo araw-araw for so long here in Nagtahan. Yung sa may Nagtahan Interlink, di ba yung ilalim ng alikabok nun? At ginawa ng paradahan, akalain mo libreng parking, you know? No, I put an end to it. Through MMDA and the City of Manila, join together, mix money, pera ng, may mga bagong formula ngayon na ginagawa natin. Office of the President, LGSF, City of Manila, mix, pack, tayo. MMDA, pera nila, City of Manila, konti pera namin, marami silang pera, join kami, pack, tayo. Nangyayari yun. It's happening now. Sabi sa inyo, sanay ako nang wala. Abilidad lang paminsan-minsan. But the thing is now, we continue to get as many open space and to convert it into open green space. Yun yung umami. Yung Maynila luma, UST luma. Matanda pa sa lolo ko to. But, yes, it's true Manila is luma. While it is true Manila is old. Pero pwede nating gawin itong maaliwalas at panatag ang pamayanan. I'd rather have this kind of city with full of character and history because it has its own soul. Yun ang kayamanan ng Maynila. They may have a better designed building there, somewhere in the east. They may have all the unwired building there, good for you guys. But the uniqueness of Manila is something that we continue to nourish and we take it as an advantage because, we have a lot of story to tell about Manila. That's why we have a campaign in Manila, in our tourism campaign. We call it, we owe it to Nick Joaquin. Inadapt ko lang to kay Nick Joaquin. We call it Manila, My Manila. Is it my Manila? Yes, I'm from Manila. Is it your Manila? I hope you don't mind. Kasi yung nakaputing t-shirt na may pink. Ikaw, yeah. Taga saan ka? Where do you live? Cavite. It is your Manila. It is our Manila. Why? Because one way or another, we have a story to tell about Manila because Manila is part of our life. That's why we can honestly say, as Filipino, as Metro Manila, as Manilas, it is Manila, my Manila. Yan ang aming sinasabi. Now, it is now our Manila. Now, I want you to participate. Uy, pwede ha? In passing lang. Yung mga dinudot-dot nyo sa Fusion Alley, ha? Ilagay nyo lang sa tamang sisidlan. I'm happy for you. You're enjoying it. It is the city's effort. Nung inayos talaga yan. No? But let's make it clean. Because whatever I said, I've done, and going to do in the coming weeks, months of our lives as your mayor, I cannot do it alone. Alam niyo, pag kaya ko, kaya ko. Kaya kong umatang nung 10 anyos ako ng 20 kilos na karton. I know hanggang saan lang ang kakayanan ko. But, that's why I'm asking each and every one of you, help me. We have to come together. Because together, we can make Manila great again. Magandang araw at pagpalain nawa kayo na buong buhay. Maraming salamat po. Manila, God first. Thank you. Pasensya ka na, natagalan ka. Madaldal ako eh.
Once again, sustainable success after sustainable success. Maraming salamat, Honorable Mayor Isco Moreno, everyone. Right after that very meaty speech, Mayor, I'd love to have you right here on stage still for a photo opportunity with all of our Manila Bulletin executives. Thank you so much, Mayor, for making Manila great again. Right now, joining Mayor Isco on stage, we have our Manila Bulletin executives. First up, President of Manila Bulletin, Dr. Emilio C. Yap III, Publishers Secretary Herminio Sonny Coloma Jr., Business Development Manager, Mr. Jordan Tan is joining us as well. Head of Branded Content Group, Ms. Irish Lorenzo. Manila Bulletin Sustainability Events Co-Project Lead, Mr. Philip Ku Unyeng. Brand and Marketing Manager, Mr. Leslie Araujo. Editor of Environment and Sustainability Section, Ms. Len Amadora is also joining us, together with the Director of the Office of the UST Public Affairs, Ms. Mika Lagniton. Once again, we have the mayor, Mayor Isco, right here on stage, together with our executives from Manila Bulletin and from the UST Public Affairs. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you as well to our executives, and thank you, Honorable Mayor Isco Moreno. Round of applause, please. Now, moving back to our forum, ladies and gentlemen, our speakers from different industries and leading companies are all excited to share their sustainability initiative. So I won't keep all of you waiting any longer this morning. Our first featured brand is spending big on our future with 78.1 billion pesos in capex for 2025, and 66% of that goes straight into our renewables. They are targeting 4,600 megawatts of clean energy capacity to help support affordable power and a more sustainable future for the whole country. To discuss about their sustainability efforts for the whole community, please welcome right here on stage the Assistant Vice President, Stakeholder Relations of Aboitiz Renewables Inc., none other than Mr. John Michael Rico. Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Good morning.
Nice meeting you. Ang hirap sundan ni Mayor Isco. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. I'd like to apologize in advance to our audience. Medyo napalakas yung sigaw natin sa Araneta Coliseum kahapon. I'm sure the Thomasians among you will understand 3-0, and we're moving on to stepladder versus NU on Saturday. Naimbag nga aldaw, maayad na adlaw, maayong adlaw. Magandang araw. Good day, everyone. To the organizers of the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum, faculty members, and most especially to all the students joining us today, thank you for having me. My name is John Michael Rico. I am the Assistant Vice President for Stakeholder Relations of Aboitiz Renewables Inc. And it is a privilege to be here with you this morning. As a Thomasian, being back here feels like coming full circle. And it reminds me why the work that we do in communities is very personal for us. In the same way, uplifting communities around our power plants is not just part of our work at Aboitiz Renewables. It is at the core of who we are as a power generation company. Because when we talk about sustainability, we're really talking about your future. It's not just the future of energy, but the future of communities, of opportunity, and people. Before we go further, let me share what sustainability means to us at Aboitiz Renewables. Yes, it includes renewable energy and environmental responsibility. But more than that, it means ensuring that the progress we create is shared, inclusive, and lasting. For us, it comes down to 3 things: powering the country, protecting the planet, and uplifting communities. Because no matter how clean our energy is, if people around us are left behind, then what we're building is not truly sustainable. And that's exactly how we approach our work at Aboitiz Renewables. At the core of what we do is our massive transformative purpose: energizing progress, uplifting communities. Energy is what we provide, but people are why we exist. And this is where our role as a good neighbor comes in. Wherever we operate, and we operate in the whole country, we don't just build facilities, we build relationships. We listen, we partner, and we grow with our host communities. So now, let me begin with a simple question. How many of you here have ever had to worry about not having water at home? Or not being able to see a doctor when you're sick? Or not being sure if you could finish school? For many of us, these are things we don't think about every day because we already have access. But for many communities across the Philippines, that access is not guaranteed. And that is where our story begins. Aboitiz Renewables is the energy arm of AboitizPower. We develop and operate solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal energy across the country. May battery pa. Right now, we have around 3 gigawatts of capacity with more projects in the pipeline. But beyond the numbers, beyond the infrastructure, we always ask ourselves one important question. Who are we doing this for? Because energy is not just about powering the grids. It's about powering lives and ensuring that communities grow with us. At the heart of everything we do is one belief. Access unlocks opportunity. Think about it. You can be hardworking, you can be talented, you can have all the right intentions. But without access to education, healthcare, or basic needs, those dreams become much harder to reach. So our goal is simple. Remove barriers, open doors, and make access possible. Because once access is there, people find their own way forward. First and foremost, our biggest contribution to communities is what we do best, providing clean energy, or what we call cleanergy. And if you ever have the chance, we'd love to invite all of you guys to visit our Cleanergy Center in Macban. This is in Bai and Calauan in Laguna to see this in action. But beyond energy, we focus on 5 key areas that matter most to the communities that we serve. Clean water, health services, livelihood, disaster response, and education. These priorities come from what communities actually need, and they are all connected. You cannot talk about education if a child is sick. You cannot talk about livelihood if there's no access to water. And you can't talk about progress if communities are isolated during disasters. That's how we look at sustainability. We look at it not as separate efforts, but as something that only works when everything moves together. Because community development isn't just one pillar of sustainability. It's how sustainability becomes real. Now to our first story. I have several for you guys today. Let's start with something fundamental, something we often take for granted, water. In some communities in Bukidnon, especially among the Higaonon people, so these pictures are taken in the municipality of Manolo Fortich and Impasugong in Bukidnon. Among the Higaonon people, water used to mean walking long distances every single day. Imagine, as a child, waking up early, not to go to school, but to fetch water. Imagine carrying heavy containers, just so your family can cook, drink, and bathe. That was daily life. Through a 1.3 million water system project, nearly 6,000 residents now have access to clean, reliable water. And while that may sound like a simple improvement, children now have more time to study. Parents have more time to work, and families live healthier lives. So let's move from basic needs, but we move to something just as important, health. In many remote areas, getting medical care is not easy. Sometimes the nearest clinic is hours away. Sometimes there are no doctors at all. Through our programs, we've been able to expand access to healthcare across communities, reaching thousands of families through facilities, medical missions, and affordable medicines. But, let me make this more real. Imagine a child with fever and a parent deciding whether to travel far or wait and hope it gets better. Access to healthcare removes that uncertainty. Through our Adopt a Health Center program in Tiwi, in Albay, Bai and Calauan in Laguna, over 104,000 lives now have access to better healthcare facilities. Through medical missions, we've delivered 17.8 million worth of care to underserved areas. In the last couple of months alone, we've completed 5 medical missions in the municipalities of Santo Tomas in Batangas, Bai and Calauan in Laguna. There's another one in San Manuel in Pangasinan, and the last one was just this week in Olongapo in Zambales. And through Butika ng Bayan, over 50,000 people now have access to affordable medicines. The recent donations that we've made to the Butika ng Bayan LG, sponsored by the LGUs, were held in Manolo Fortich, in Bukidnon, and in Santa Cruz in Davao del Sur. Because access to healthcare is not just about treatment. It's about knowing that when something goes wrong, help is within reach. Now, once basic needs are met, the next question becomes, how do communities move forward? And this is where livelihood comes in. Let's go back again to Bukidnon. In Bukidnon, bamboo grows naturally. Before, it was just there. Not seen as something valuable, but through Aboitiz's training and partnerships with TESDA, communities surrounding our hydroelectric power plant learned how to transform bamboo into products, furniture, materials, goods for sale. Today, families can earn income, some even reaching up to 26,000 pesos weekly. But more than income, they gained skills, confidence, and control over their future. And beyond programs like this, our relationship with communities goes even deeper. In the last couple of weeks, I personally had the opportunity to distribute host community shares to our local government units in the Cordilleras. These host community shares are benefits directly tied to our plant operations, which means that as we operate, communities benefit alongside us. And what's powerful is how these funds are used. So when I spoke to the governors of Mountain Province, of Benguet, the mayors of Sabangan, La Trinidad, Itogon, Sablan, I'm missing another one, I can't remember. But they all told me that they're using these funds to support drivers and farmers, those who are directly affected by rising fuel costs. So when we talk about stakeholders, for Aboitiz Renewables, it is not abstract. Our communities have a direct stake in what we do. But progress isn't always steady, especially during crisis. In upland areas, again, like Benguet and Mountain Province, alam nyo naman doon, di ba? Alam nyo naman yung mga kalsada doon, katabi ng bundok. And landslides can isolate entire communities when there are typhoons. Roads become impassable and help cannot reach them. So, Aboitiz Renewables supported disaster response effort with fuel and logistics, helping reconnect isolated areas faster. Because during emergencies, access is not just support. It's the difference between delay and rescue. And over time, something important has happened. We've become one of the first partners that LGUs in Benguet and Mountain Province call during emergencies, because they know that when we provide fuel, it doesn't just support operations. It enables road clearing. It allows other forms of help to come in. And for us, the fact that we are among the first they call speaks volumes about the level of trust and partnership that we've built with these communities. Now, I want to slow down here because this is where everything comes together. Education. Let me tell you about Freddie. Freddie grew up without electricity. He didn't have the advantages many of us have, but he had determination. Through our scholarship support, he finished a degree in agriculture. And today, he teaches farmers in his community, helping them improve their livelihoods. Let me tell you about Michelle. She dreamed of becoming a doctor. And through support, she achieved that that dream. Today, she serves communities in Benguet that once lacked access to healthcare. Now, what do these stories have in common? Access was given, but it did not stop there. It multiplied. And this is something I hope you carry with you. Education is not just personal success. It is the ability to create impact beyond yourself. Behind every story are thousands more. Communities reached, lives improved, partnerships built. But numbers alone don't define impact. People do. Every number represents a life changed through access. At this point, we'd like you to hear directly from the communities themselves because their stories reflect the impact better than we ever could.
As a farmer's child, I learned early that life is not easy. But through the support of Aboitiz Renewable, a door opened, giving me a chance to continue and finish my study. Yan si Freddy Jr. nanganlag, higaunon haluman. Proud as scholar o Aboitiz Renewable. Nagpasalamat ako alan-alan, hasuportanoy daw bolig yun. Ilabion gayon, ta nakapunga o pagtungha ko ta kolehiyo. Imanto, yanda gayud sa maikagi ko inyo.
When we need extra medicines, it's no longer a problem. Help is here when we need it most, allowing us to assist others. Thank you, Aboitiz Renewable.
Clean water is now a part of our everyday lives. Something simple, but it changed everything for our families. Sa ngalan sa kinatibok ang katauhan sa Barangay Maruco, Barangay Council, volunteers, Isco Council, kami mapaabot sa kinasingkasing ug sinsirong pagpasalamat sa Aboitiz Renewable sa dakong kaintabang sa among panubig sa Barangay Maruco.
I'd like to express our appreciation to Aboitiz Renewable for being a partner of the municipality of La Trinidad in times of disaster. So in times of disaster, we are no longer alone. Support reaches us faster when every second matters. So again, the municipality of La Trinidad expresses our appreciation to Aboitiz Renewable for being a partner of this local government. Maraming salamat.
If you step back and look at it, a pattern starts to emerge. Access to water leads to health. Health enables education. Education creates opportunity. Opportunity builds stronger communities. And it all begins with something simple: access. And in the end, this is what sustainability comes down to. It's not just about what companies do, it's about what people choose to do with the opportunities they have. To all the students here today, you are in a position of access. You have access to education, you have access to information, you have opportunities in front of you. And the question is, what will you do with it? Because the future of sustainability is not just in companies like ourselves, it's in people like you. People who will create solutions, build systems, and make sure no one is left behind. At Aboitiz Renewables, we believe that real sustainability happens when progress is shared, when communities are not just beneficiaries, but partners. Because being a good neighbor means taking responsibility for the impact you leave behind. And when people choose to pass that forward, progress doesn't stop. It grows. And that is how partnerships are powered. That is how lives are transformed. Daghang salamat, agyaman launay. Dakkel ha salamat, maraming salamat. Thank you everyone. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Sir John, for that insightful talk. We will be seeing more of him later for our panel discussion. Moving on to our next brand partner, they are integrating tech-enabled sustainability across their 2026 developments, including energy-efficient logistic hubs and smart building systems that reduce operational impact. Now, all of those initiatives help maximize energy efficiency, reduce waste, and simplify operations, making every property more eco-friendly. Right here to provide us with deeper understanding of the stock market for a sustainable future, we have here today a title holder of the Master of Financial Technical Analysis, or MFTA, the highest global accreditation in technical analysis, and the first awarded in the whole Philippines. Invited by Robinson's Land Commercial Inc., a real estate investment trust, please welcome right here on stage, Trading Edge Chief Investment Strategist and Co-founder, Mr. Ron Acoba.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. So this morning, I will briefly discuss how we, as students and faculties, can be literal stakeholders through investing towards the move to sustainability. So, and this is actually very, very relevant today because when talking about investing, the first important thing that we need to encounter is inflation, right? Inflation is very, very relevant to where we are today. Why? Because, yeah, as you guys are all aware, prices of literally everything has surged. Not just recent, but surged. The word is surge. In the past, not just in the past month, not just in the past year or so, but in just as little as the past few weeks. By the way, inflation is the yearly increase in the prices of goods and services. Since 2019 up to today, on average, prices of goods and services tumaas na ng more or less 25%. And we can expect it to rise even further given that what is happening today, right? And I've said that this is very relevant because all of us are aware that we are currently in an energy crisis. To the point that from end of February to today, prices ng gasolina more than doubled, right? Imagine that. In just 2 months, prices of gasoline, prices of diesel, gas, kerosene, more than times 2. To the point na yung mga gas stations, hindi na kasya sa digital display nila yung presyo. Kailangan na nila maglagay ng mag-tape ng number 1 dun sa tabi. This is actually unprecedented because even for me, I've never seen prices of gas reach triple digits in my life, right? So, mga presyo, triple digits to the point na hindi na nga ginagamit yung digital display. Nagdidikit na ng papel just to put kung gaano kalaki ang tinaas ng presyo ng gasolina. And this is actually a meme that I've seen very, very recently. So if you have a loved one, the next time that you want to bring them to a place for a date kung saan mamahalin, pwede nyo na silang ilabas sa gas station, right? And this is actually one of the things that I find very nice about Filipinos because even in the midst of a crisis, we still manage to find something that is positive, something that is fun. So we make fun of the difficulties, which shows our resilience to the crisis that we have on hand. This particular image in front of you, this was trending a week or 2 ago in Jensen. There was a student, so rather than bringing or riding a jeepney to go to school, he brought and rode a horse. Dinala niya, papasok sa eskwela. With how prices are nowadays, in fact, as of last night, global prices of crude tumaas ulit ng almost 10% to $110 per barrel. The highest since the conflict. So we can expect after 2 weeks of rollbacks, di ba? We have rollbacks recently. Next week, we can expect prices to be at its highest sa mga gas stations ulit because unfortunately, mas lumalala yung mga nangyayari sa Middle East. But having said that, going back to this particular picture, perhaps the transition to EVs may not necessarily be the thing to do. Perhaps we may need to go back to 100 years ago, 200 years ago, or even back all the way to UST's founding, 1611, na instead of riding tricycles or jeepneys, perhaps kalesa pwede na, di ba? Kabayo. Damo lang ang kailangan, hindi mo na kailangan ng gasolina, hindi mo na kailangan ng electricity. Now, ito affected ako dito because it's summer. Sobrang init, di ba? So, my wife and I, siguro in a week, we can go as much as twice. Halo-halo fix, ang init eh. Di ba? So, we always want to get bebang. Bebang for us is the best halo-halo. Mahal siya, but taste-wise, it's really, really good. And for the longest time, 188 pesos lang yung presidential halo-halo. Mahal na nga yun to begin with. And I found out, because we were trying to buy a week ago, 228 pesos na siya. From 188 pesos 4 weeks ago, biglang tumalon to 228. That's, by the way, a 21% increase in just a short span of time. So, inflation na ako mismo affected. Now, another form of inflation. Now, if you go back to previous years, it's very easy to find, 50 peso budget meal, di ba? Pumunta ka sa labas ng FEU, ang dami nagbebenta. Diyan sa likod, dim sum treats, di ba? Siomai rice, 50 pesos for the longest time. Nowadays, wala ka nang makikitang ganon. Kung meron man, 100 pesos na siya. At actually, even at 100 pesos, parang wala ka nang masyadong makita. Ganon na kabilis tumaas ang presyo quite recently. And if there's something, Mayor Isco mentioned kanina, that there are two certain things in the world, di ba? Death and taxes. I would like to add another one, which for me is pagtaas ng presyo. Parang certain yun, di ba? Every year, tumataas ang presyo ng mga bilihin. So it's really up to us to uplift ourselves to be able to be at pace with how prices are going. Kung hindi naman tumataas ang presyo, pareho lang siya, pero lumiliit. Diba? Tawag doon shrinkflation, parehong 99 pesos, pero yung dating 200-gram burger mo, 150 grams na lang. Right? So, one of the main reasons, uulitin ko, why we actually need to be a stakeholder through investing is that if meron man silver lining to all of this, aside from, having the capacity to be at pace with how prices are going, kanina it was also mentioned that going back to COVID, the transition that we saw, it actually hastened or fast-tracked the transition to the use of digital services, yung pag-transact through GCash, through Maya, because of the fact na nagkaroon ng pandemic. Because previously, wala naman ganon, people are still comfortable paying in cash. People are comfortable meeting face-to-face. Wala naman gumagamit ng Zoom. But since nagkaroon ng crisis, nagkaroon ng transition. Now, the transition that what we are seeing now, if there's a silver lining to all of these things, is that actually not tila, but it's actually very apparent that there is a faster transition towards the use of renewable energy. Installation of solar for us consumers, installation of solar panels sa mga households, or use of electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles. However, the truth to the matter is, I just like to be objective and blunt, even if doing so or transitioning to that is actually the right thing to do, or even the financially viable thing to do, because doing so in itself is investing. Because, for example, if you're gonna buy rather than using a combustion-powered car, you shift to an EV car, doing so would entail an upfront cost. Kailangan mong bumili, right? Rather than just continually paying your Meralco bill, kunwari, perhaps the better alternative is to install a solar grid system to your house, right? Because doing so would allow you, after 3 or 4 years, pwedeng umabot sa 0 per month yung babayaran mo. Same thing again with EV. Kung meron ka ng solar system sa bahay mo, nagcha-charge pa yung kotse mo sa bahay, effectively, hindi ka na nagbabayad ng gasolina, di ba? Mas mura. And kaya lang, to be honest, meron siyang upfront cost, right? Buying an EV is not cheap. Having a solar grid system installed in your house is not necessarily cheap. Financially viable, yes, because after 2 to 3 years, you can make your money back. But then again, the truth of the matter is there's an upfront cost to it. Even as simple as making a simple choice of, kunwari, bumili ka sa grocery, plastic bag or eco bag, right? The easiest choice is to go with a plastic bag. Why? Because it's free. They'll just give it to you, right? Eco bag, it's the right choice, but you need to spend 10 pesos for it, right? Sulit na siya because afterwards you can reuse and reuse and reuse again. But then again, what I'm saying is you need to shell out 10 pesos first, right? Another example that we can relate with, if you're throwing a party and choosing utensils between plastic spoon and forks versus bamboo spoon and fork, by default, the easiest and cheapest choice would be go for the disposable plastics. Why? Because it's cheaper, right? But the sustainable choice would be to choose the ones that are made with bamboo. But it's not necessarily cheap. And that is why we actually need to invest, aside from at least being at pace with inflation, is for us to uplift ourselves, financially speaking, for us to be able to afford these things. Because investing and doing this makes it easier by at least a degree or two for us to make a sustainable choice. We will no longer be capped by our means of always choosing the cheaper ones, right? So as I've mentioned, within this crisis that we're seeing, fast track yung transition to renewables, right? And as I've said, transitioning to electric vehicles and solar energy involves significant upfront costs, at least from a consumer point of view. Now, when talking about investing, I mentioned kanina that we are in a crisis. We are in an energy crisis right now. For 2 months already, since the attack that the US did in Iran end of February, so it's going 2 months roughly. And since we are in a crisis and talking about investing, we are actually here, dun sa sad face dun sa baba, yung depressed na emoji, right? So markets essentially are move in cycles. Markets and economies move in cycles. There is a period of time kung kailan may prosperity, right? Everyone is making money, businesses are doing good. And there is naman a time when everything is falling apart, or at least it appears so, right? Maraming naghihirap because of the environment. We are at that particular environment right now, right at the sad face emoji, right? And the last time that this happened previous to pandemic. The very recent one was the pandemic because everything was closed, right? The previous one was during the global financial crisis. And during the global financial crisis, same thing, all of the prices of investment vehicles were mostly down, like really, really down and depressed. However, the good and the best thing to do about it, much like what Mr. Kuinjeng said a while ago, is perhaps we need to be critical. We need to think. We can't just accept what is. The best thing to do is, acknowledge that this is how it is right now. The next question should be, what are you going to do about it? Short of saying, there are opportunities despite the fact that we are in a crisis. And like I said, the last time that this happened, previous to the pandemic, was the global financial crisis, where the likes of, for example, JG Summit. JG Summit, by the way, is the parent company of Robinson's Land. During the global financial crisis back in 2008 and 2009, their share prices have fallen to about 1 peso 50 cents to 2 pesos. And then, of course, eventually market recovered, economies recovered, right? 6-7 years after that particular crisis, look what happened. The share prices rose to as much as 80 pesos, from 1 peso 50 cents to as much as 80 pesos. And I recently found out na ang tawag pala dito, you guys term it, is paldo. Paldo means jackpot. I never encountered that word previously, but I just encountered it. So, paldo. Those who were able to get in when prices are cheap during the crisis back in that particular time and waited for things to recover, just 6-7 years, the market rewarded them handsomely. Now, past performances, I need to say this, past performances don't necessarily guarantee future returns, but these are the kinds of opportunities will be presented to you during a crisis. You just need to look, you just need to act. Now, Robinson's Land is the real estate arm of JG Summit. It's moving towards sustainability through renewable energy, through green certification buildings, and through waste reduction with a commitment to reduce, with a commitment to have a zero carbon footprint by 2050. Now, you can be a part of RLC's growth and RLC's drive to sustainability through investing with them, either through direct property purchase or through buying of shares. Now, perhaps as a student, it's not yet the time for us to, buy a property outright. But even as early as now, and as low as 1,750 pesos, you can already buy shares in the company. And vis-a-vis buying a condo, buying shares, you're actually not just a shareholder of the company, you can actually consider yourself as a part owner of RLC already. Not just an owner of your condominium unit, but a part owner of the entire company for as low as 1,750 pesos as we speak. Now, RCREIT or RCR is the REIT vehicle of RLC. REIT is essentially the owner and operator of RLC's leasing segment. And by law, at least 90% of its distributable income are required to be distributed to all of its shareholders through cash dividends. And as of now, yung yield na maaari mong makuha in RCR is about 6.3%. So if you have 50,000 pesos and put it in RCR, that 50,000 pesos compounded annually at a rate of 6.3% is actually 67,000 pesos after 5 years. and 92,000 pesos after 10 years. And we're just talking about dividends. We're not even talking about potential capital growth. Same thing with owning your own property, diba? There's a potential for capital appreciation, the value of your property increasing, aside from the fact that you can also lease it out and earn a yield from it, right? So through investing in the market, JGS, you can actually buy a minimum of 27,000 pesos worth, as low as 27,000 worth. Robinson's land, 17,500, and then RCR, 6,800, assuming you aim to buy 100 shares. And this is accessible by going through the stock market, which is actually the virtual place where you can buy and sell shares. And again, right, doing so will not only allow us to be at pace with inflation. That's the first hurdle, diba? And a lot of these things are, we are just taking it for granted. You're actually at a head start, because when I started, I only thought about investing maybe 3 or 5 years after I graduated already. It only hit me when I already had a girlfriend that, parang 5 years na lang, gusto ko na magpakasal. And I never had anything to my name during that particular time. You, as a student, for example, you're what? 18, 19 years old or 20 years old, plan to get married at around 30, 31. You have 10 years to build your wealth, not just to be at pace with inflation, but in terms of sustainability, to be able to make that easier choice and not just be limited by what you have. And you can do that through the firm that I'm with, Cabales Go Securities, your trusted partner in financial independence. And my firm, Trading Edge Consultancy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Ron. We'll hear more from Sir Ron later in our panel discussion. Now, everyone, there is more to learn today. Our third brand partner is advancing sustainability through the SM Green Movement, aiming for net zero emissions by 2040, with solar panels in more than 48 malls, large-scale water recycling and waste programs that collected over 155,000 kilograms of trash in 2024. Now, I've personally seen their majestic solar panels, particularly the one in SM Mall of Asia, and I've been hosting their coastal cleanup every year. I have to say that this company is so committed to their sustainable systems as a whole. Right here this morning to share more about the company's sustainability projects in action, we are joined today by an architecture alumna from UST, a fellow Tomasian, everyone, and a member of the United Architects of the Philippines and the U.S. Green Building Council. She oversees design projects for new mall developments, expansions, redevelopments, and renovations, as well as for retail affiliates, including the SM Department Store, food retail, and international brand partners of SM Supermalls. Right here this morning, we have on stage Chief Design Architect of SM Engineering and Design Development, Architect Fides Su.
Good morning, everyone, especially to our students here at the University of Santo Tomas. It is truly meaningful for me to be back here, not only as a professional, but as a fellow Tomasian. Someone who once sat where you are now, learning how design, engineering, and values shape the world we live in. You are entering a world defined by climate change, fast urbanization, resource constraints, and increasing disaster risks. These realities can feel overwhelming, but they also present a powerful opportunity to redefine what progress looks like. Today, I want to talk to you about sustainability not as a slogan or a checklist, but as infrastructure, as design, and as action that directly uplifts communities. At SM Supermalls, sustainability is not separate from business. It is embedded in how we plan, design, build, and operate our malls. Our malls are not just commercial destinations for shopping, dining, and leisure activities. They function as urban centers, transport hubs, public gathering spaces, emergency shelters, and economic ecosystems. Because of this scale and reach, how we design matters not just to SM but to communities, local governments, and the country as a whole. So the question we continually ask is, how can large-scale infrastructure improve everyday life while using resources responsibly? Let us begin with waste management. Malls, like cities, generate significant waste daily. The challenge is not visibility, it is system design. SM Supermalls addresses this through in-mall materials recovery facilities, strict segregation at source, waste programs and recycling partnerships, and collaboration with local waste processors. In Cebu, we have the SM Gun Environment Company that processes waste to fuel, and we plan to put up recycling facilities. But beyond operational efficiency, this is a design principle, moving from a linear take, use, dispose model to a circular system where materials flow back into the economy. Well-designed waste systems, in effect, reduce flooding and pollution, lower environmental burden on LGUs, create livelihood opportunities for recyclers and service partners, and improve public health for surrounding communities. This is sustainability that works quietly, but powerfully every day. Energy is one of our most critical shared resources. SM Supermalls invested in building management systems in the late 1990s and innovated with LED lighting systems, high-efficiency chillers, large ceiling fans, or what we call the big-ass fans, entrance vestibules, sensor escalators, and other equipment. Our mall building envelope uses EIFS, low E and IGU glass facade, which act as building insulators against heat to reduce aircon and power consumption. We feature passive designs such as skylights and clerestory windows. We currently have 72 malls with rooftop solar photovoltaic systems that source energy from the sun to supplement our electricity requirements. Why does this matter to communities? Because when large developments use energy efficiently, they reduce strain on the power grid, lower emissions that affect public health, free up energy, public institutions and businesses, improve economic stability during peak demand. We must be self-sufficient in any crisis and to combat climate change. Energy efficiency is not just cost saving, it is nation building. Water security is no longer a future concern. It is a present responsibility. SM Supermalls incorporates low-flow fixtures and sensor-based systems, sewage treatment plants, and rainwater harvesting that allow water reuse for non-potable and potable needs. This matters because commercial centers and nearby communities share the same water sources. By reducing demand and reusing water, more water becomes available for homes, hospitals, schools, and cities. Local water systems remain resilient, and economic activity does not compete with basic human needs. Good design ensures that progress does not come at the expense of the public. Air quality is a public health issue, and design affects it every day. SM Supermalls contributes to cleaner air by reducing energy-related emissions. We also employ low VOC paints and adhesives. We improve natural ventilation and indoor airflow in the malls. We integrate sky gardens, indoor landscapes, parks, and arcades. Our parking light indicators help minimize air pollution from vehicles, transport terminals, public access, bike parking, and EV charging for convenience and to promote alternative transport. Integrated mall developments reduce traffic congestion, vehicle emissions, and fragmented urban movement. When people can live, move, work, and connect efficiently, cities become healthier. This is why architects and engineers play a direct role in public well-being. In a disaster-prone country like the Philippines, resilience is sustainability at its most critical. SM Supermalls are designed with stringent structural and safety standards beyond the building code. Flood mitigation and rainwater catchment systems, and early warning systems such as automated weather stations and earthquake recording instruments. We regularly conduct emergency preparedness seminars and drills, and we closely coordinate with LGUs, BFP, and other responders. We have the SM Resilience Center, which will serve as a command center during disasters. During calamities, malls often serve as evacuation centers, relief distribution hubs, and safe, structurally sound shelters. The malls protect not only tenants and customers, but also surrounding communities who seek safety during emergencies. Design in these moments saves lives. When sustainability is embedded in infrastructure, everyone benefits. Sustainable SM malls protect public health through cleaner air and water, strengthen local economies by keeping operating costs stable, preserve critical resources for government and public use, serve as safe spaces during disasters, and support inclusive, walkable, and connected cities. This is not abstract sustainability. It is felt on the ground. When communities see that large developments use resources responsibly, invest in safety and resilience, work with local governments, and prepare not only for profit, but for people, trust grows. And sustainability becomes a shared responsibility, not a regulation imposed from above. So, to all the students listening today, we challenge you to be partners in building a more sustainable future. Environmental stewardship is meaningful because it delivers real impact. It strengthens communities, creates opportunities, and drives national progress. We invite you to take this responsibility forward through your choices today and the leadership you will bring tomorrow. At SM, sustainability is not an add-on. It is how we define long-term success. To uplift communities means designing responsibly, planning beyond property lines, recognizing that infrastructure, when done right, strengthens a nation. As students, future designers, engineers, planners, and leaders, you will shape the next generation of cities. May you always design not just for growth, but for people, resilience, and shared progress. Maraming salamat at magandang araw sa inyong lahat.
Maraming salamat, Architect Tudes of SMEDD. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now on our fourth brand partner this morning. They aim to plant 1 million trees by 2025, but achieved all of that in a year, early in 2024, covering 2,815 hectares. The forests were established and are still cared for by local rangers and farmers from host communities. To talk about powering schools and businesses with renewable energy, we are now joined by a leader from ACEN RES, who champions the shift through the government's customer choice programs. Right here on stage, please welcome ACEN Senior Vice President and Head of Market Transformation and Retail, Mr. Jose Antonio Tony T. Valdez.
Magandang umaga mga mag-aaral ng UST, the editorial and events team at Manila Bulletin, and esteemed guests online and on-site. During this talk, I will be giving away prizes to attentive, diligent, sharp listeners in the audience. There will be surprise quiz questions, so take down notes, take pictures as needed, and listen carefully. I'm giving away 3 personal windmills, otherwise known as Jisoo Life. Do you want this? Okay, so, in a count of 3, the one who raises his hand the highest gets this. 1, 2, 3. Lady at the back in blue, you win. Please come forward. Okay, 2 more to go, guys, so please listen up. To me, UST has always been about 2 things. The first is this. It is the iconic art piece and monument by Ramon Orlina, your distinguished alumnus. I consider him and his wife, Leanne, as friends, as I am a student of art and a fan of the Orlinas. Sabi ni Don Ramon, ang models niya daw dito are also UST alumni na si Piolo Pascual at Charlene Gonzalez. Talaga naman, mahirap tapatan ng uste sa larangan ng kagandahan at kakisigan. The second iconic thing about UST is it being a pontifical university. 3 popes have visited UST, and I remember coming here for Pope John Paul in 1995 and Pope Francis in 2015. It was Pope Francis who wrote the encyclical Laudato Si, which in English means, Praise be to you. Pope Francis was concerned about care for our common home, planet Earth, and he criticizes consumerism and irresponsible economic development, laments environmental degradation and global warming, and calls all people of the world for swift and unified global action. Sa isang gala event ng ACEN, by the way, it's the 4th leg of the Ayala Group. If you know BPI, you know Globe, you know Ayala Land, ACEN is the energy company of the Ayala Group. Sa isang gala event ng ACEN, mariin kaming pinangaralan ni Brother Bernard Oca, President of DLSU, tungkol dito sa Laudato Si. Let's watch this.
Nagawa ng DLSU ang tinatawag namin whole of university approach. Kami ay nagsali na sa partnership ng ACEN RES. Bumababa na ang gastos namin sa electricity. Kaya nakatanggap kami ng certificate from the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Certified Emission Reduction. Noong 2015, mahalagang taon ito sapagkat si Pope Francis ay nagsulat ng encyclical na Laudato Si. At bilang isang katolikong pamantasan, talagang isinagawa namin ang lahat ng gusto na namin gawin. At ang aming mission statement, binago namin, gawa nitong encyclical at dinagdag ang attuned to a sustainable earth.
Okay, at ACEN, we've made it our mission to partner with schools and their academic and student communities on renewable energy. We think that religious and the academe who run the schools are one step ahead of other entities qualified to switch to renewable energy. They are familiar with Laudato Si and more enlightened on environmental concerns. We now have over 70 schools in our portfolio. We have 5 out of 8 schools in UAAP and 3 out of 10 schools in NCAA. Schools choose ACEN RES for renewable energy supply. Not only schools, but businesses. 6 out of 10 businesses choose ACEN RES when it comes to renewable energy. Shown here is the report of the Energy Regulatory Commission as of their latest report dated February this year. Now, why would businesses and schools partner with ACEN RES? We think 4 reasons. 1, we are 100% renewable energy with no interest in fossil fuels. We are also part of the Ayala Group. We stand by our name, and businesses want to associate with a name they can trust. We provide a competitive economic proposal. Nearly 1,000 companies are now using renewable energy through ACEN, saving millions of pesos annually on their electricity bill. 3, we help businesses amplify their sustainability efforts to employees, students, and consumers. And what's good for them is good for businesses and schools. We also mirror the values of students and consumers alike. Students today want to be in a school that mirror their values. Yes, they like a good school and one with a good basketball team. In their top criteria, kasama din sa school that has a concern for the environment. A research study by Synergy and YouGov shows that netizens, who are mostly students, are woke, and that we are beyond the tipping point as far as renewable energy is concerned. They understand and feel strongly about preserving the environment. 75% believe that RE is the future, and 57% are willing to pay more, although actually in renewable energy, you pay less. And they also, 57% only buy or buy as much as I can buy from socially and environmentally responsible companies. Thus, it is not a surprise that we now have the most number of renewable energy customers in the country today, all partners of ours in demonstrating to its end users or consumers that they are green. You see the logos of a sample of these companies from various industries: consumer goods, packaging, semiconductors, business process outsourcing, manufacturing, industrial, and so on and so forth. What do we do for our partner schools? First is we prove to them that they indeed save money. You heard Brother Oca say it. We meet with them and as often as they want, providing the comparison of their bill with ACEN versus if they had stayed with their utility. Second, we provide them with the certified reports that allow them to maximize their switch to RE and raise their ratings in the THE, or the Times Higher Education, which is a global ranking of universities. That's one reason that helped sustain the THE ranking on sustainability of the top universities, You're seeing their logos, UST, DLSU, Ateneo, Mapua, and FEU, despite more and more Philippine schools figuring in the rankings, growing from just 15 in 2022 to 121 in 2025. We partner closely with schools and help them achieve their sustainability goals. Here's the next question. A few slides ago, I flashed a slide that had the names and logos of schools that have partnerships with ACEN Res. Correct? Name the first school on the upper left-hand corner. Yes, the lady with the glasses. Just shout it out. Oh, sorry, the first one here, sorry. I saw her raise her hand first. Yes, you, yeah. Okay, you both win. So please get your prize from Nick Sayo here later. Okay, so the two ladies win. You both get. You're very sharp, right? Because we'll show it here. It's actually yes UST. Can you click it, please? There. So it's on the upper left-hand corner. Okay, so yan may resibo. Our certifications here, next slide, shown here, also specify what greenhouse gas savings mean. You always hear the word GHG emission savings. What does that mean? In this example, this customer is saving nearly 14,000 tons of GHG. Ibig sabihin nun, if you can see the one on the car, it's para ka nagpaandar ng isang jeep or a gas-powered engine for 56 million kilometers. That is about circling the world 1,400 times. Wow, ang lakas, ang daming na-save. We cheer and work with schools and encourage them in their sustainability journeys. We amplify the good that each school does. Because by amplifying how they do good, they also attract the right students. Now let's watch this from FEU.
Our story begins in the heart of Manila, where we take a short guided tour of one of the Philippines' most iconic universities, the Far Eastern University. This 3.5-hectare campus evolved to feature 7 distinguished institutes, each committed to academic excellence and innovation in fields such as business, technology, education, health sciences, law, and the arts. Today, it is Gigi Montinola's generation that is honoring his grandfather's legacy. With each president, the FEU was reimagined. During Gigi's uncle's time, the university was well known for its medicine and nursing courses. And under his mother's leadership, FEU's love affair with arts and culture blossomed.
Let's now go to your generation of leadership in the university. You know, every generation has its kind of like focus. When you took over the university, where did you want to take this institution?
My grandfather had the value education vision. My mother had the clean campus and culture strengthening. I like sustainability. We're 90% water recyclable. And then our buildings, we both have a UNESCO heritage. And with 2 buildings which have something called EDGE, which is basically green building certifications.
What is the reason for just adding on ACEN Res to the mix?
Well, from an FEU point of view, solar has to be done one by one. And being a school, it only operates 9 months a year. But by dealing with a company like ACEN, which is in the renewable energy field, we can get to the 98% energy. You know?
Yeah. And their clients can claim to be 100% renewable as well, in a way.
If they pick ACEN.
Yes. Looking forward, what are your dreams and hopes for this institution?
Well, we would like to keep the university on a clearly sustainable mode.
So thanks so much for having us, and congratulations.
Okay.
We'll be counting down along with you for the 100th year of FEU.
Okay.
Okay, that was FEU. But aside from schools, allow me to digress a bit to the city of Makati, an LGU that was the first to switch to renewable energy. That means its facilities, from street lights to the municipio, to its hospitals like OSMAC, and to its school, which is UMAC, or the University of Makati, and the Makati Coliseum, will all be powered by renewable energy by ACEN RES. Mayor Nancy's team estimates that they will save 300 million pesos over the 9-year contract life. Mayor Nancy is being very smart. She's saving a lot of money, yes. She's also appealing to Makati's millennials and Gen Zs. Makati has 310,000 residents, of which 61% is millennials and zillennials. For all the schools and with their permission, we jointly post the partnerships so that their community understands the threshold we cross from fossil fuels on one hand into renewable energy and how this aligns with Laudato Si and the values and mission vision of each school. The social media properties of ACEN have the highest engagement in the industry. Our posts generate 130 times more engagements than all our competitors combined, and around 500,000 reach per month. We also feature our schools in our website, which has over 100,000 monthly sessions, again outperforming our competitors. Schools also get this badge that is powered by 100% renewable energy. Let's watch this. We want schools and businesses to have a signal to its community and the public that it is doing good. The ACEN RES 100% renewable energy badge is that symbol. This is similar to what international building certification entities like LEED or WELL, both of which are green building rating systems. Another quiz. You still awake? Okay, a few slides ago, I showed a picture of Mayor Nancy Binay and ACEN during a celebratory event. In this gathering, what was she holding in the pictures that symbolized Makati City's switch to renewable energy? No one's raising his hand? So what was she holding, that round thing? Yes, please stand up. Correct. So that's the 100% renewable energy badge. Just please claim your prize from Nix. So that's what she was holding right there in the middle of the picture. So you need to have sharp eyes. Okay, the other thing that ACEN RES does is bundle electric vehicle charging stations in schools. We work with our affiliate, AC Mobility. The first school to get this bundle is the Asian Institute of Management, though many schools are already lined up. The geopolitical situation with the US-Iran war has highlighted our country's vulnerability to fossil fuel supply that passes through the Strait of Hormuz and is closely linked also to foreign exchange. Renewable energy from ACEN is indigenous to us, this country. No importation needed, no forex risk, no CO2 emissions, no brainer. So are electric vehicles. Our affiliate AC Mobility sold over 26,000 electric vehicles in 2025. It says it has 700 electric vehicle charging stations at the end of the same year. Many more schools are interested for their operations, for their faculty, and for their students, and we're ready to help. And finally, allow me to end by showing you this video of our gala event last year called Reimagine. It is our way of engaging with our customers and update them on developments in the industry that benefits them. Let's watch this.
At ACEN, our mission remains clear and unwavering: to continue marching forward on renewable energy for the sake of the generations to come, discovering the common threads of how family businesses are being reimagined for the future.
The role that Ayala should play, opportunities that we could be in, and the power generation business that we felt we could contribute to. And the resources that we had were primarily in the renewable space, because it not only with financial resources, but also it aligned with a lot of the values that we had.
Everything that we do today is for the future and the next generation. Whether the way we operate, the way we run our business, the way we consume resources, it has to be sustainable.
We wanted to contribute and give back to society, especially to generations to come. My father used to tell me that you have to have good, honest motivation to do business.
I'd really hope, David, that people would remember us as being bold but kind. I think boldness can be manifested in many ways. I think it can also be manifested in impatience, the idea of constant improvement.
I think we have to be a transformational generation. We need to transform so that we can continue. The way to transform it is basically from innovation, from energy, and our people.
I like sustainability. We would like to keep the university on a clearly sustainable mode.
When I'm asked what sustainability means for Ayala Corp, we're very, very fortunate to be working for a company that has a very, very strong purpose statement and vision. The purpose of Ayala Corporation is ultimately to build businesses that enable people to thrive. With such a strong purpose statement, it makes our job in the sustainability team a lot easier, because that's really the golden thread that goes through everything.
Reimagine sa ating wika ay bagong pag-iisip, bagong pananaw, bagong likha. Para sa ating nag-iisang mundo, para sa ating negosyo, para sa ating kasaganaan.
We stay focused, we stay committed, and we march to the steady beat of our mission to preserve our planet while powering progress. On behalf of ACEN and the Ayala Group, thank you for your trust, your partnership, and for joining us tonight. I look forward to the conversations, the stories, and the inspiration that Reimagine will spark.
And since we are in UST, let me end with how I began, with this monument, the Cuatro Mundial, which is a globe, according to its creator, Ramon Orlina. He says, our globe is facing urgent environmental concerns and an alarming rate of resource depletion. Technological advancements and the exponential speed of communication could serve as a hindrance or a solution to climate change. It is in our interconnectedness among peoples and cultures that we can solve this. And that is what we're doing today, connecting intellectually and spiritually and offering solutions. Congratulations and thank you, Manila Bulletin, for the serial success of this annual event. And salamat uste. And before I end, just one more surprise. Look underneath the skirts of your chairs. There are 20 stickers in all of these chairs. Please claim a special prize again through Nix if you find a sticker in your chair. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Non-stop with the surprises. Thank you so much, Sir Tony Valdez from ACEN, RES, and thank you as well for championing the shift, empowering our schools and businesses with renewable energy. All right, everybody, you guys are now wide awake. Again, everybody, if you want to see more of the projects of our brand partners, they are plastered all over the walls or panels over here inside the ballroom. Additionally, you guys can also view all of those projects at the Tanyan Key building from May 5 to May 8. Thank you so much to UST for giving us an avenue to showcase all of these projects from our brand partners. Maraming salamat. And right now, everyone, it's time for our panel discussion. I'd like to have here on stage our morning speakers, Mr. John Michael Rico, Architect Fides Su, as well as Mr. Philip Kuinyang, as they lead our panel discussion. Joining us as well is a member of the faculty of the UST. Allow me to introduce the Assistant Director of the UST Simbahayan Community Development Office. He leads community development, engagement, service learning, and sustainability initiatives that strengthen ties between the university and underserved communities. He also serves as the President of the Philippine Physical Therapy Association. Please welcome on stage Assistant Professor Christian Ray D. Remando, MSPT, PTRP. Hello. We'll have Sir Tony as well. Good afternoon, Sir Tony. All right, so everybody, we have here your panel, esteemed panel, our brand partners, together with Sir Philip Kuinyang from Manila Bulletin, leading our panel discussion. But first, I want to ask, how are you guys doing? You guys are okay? Okay, more than okay, everybody. First off, I just want to sound this for all of our brand partners here. What has been the biggest challenge in getting people to actually participate in sustainability? Or what is the biggest challenge in your sector? I think I want to start first with, we have here Sir John.
Really, you want to start with me?
Yes.
It's really on the awareness of the technology, the impact to the community when you start installation. Our growth trajectory has been very aggressive. We were installing power plants across various sites in the Philippines, and sometimes the resistance comes from the community themselves when they are not aware of the impact of the technology that's being installed. It requires a lot of initiatives on our part to educate and clarify with the communities that this is contributing to the National Energy Transformation Roadmap. This energy is imbued with national interest, and it impacts not just the community here, but the whole country. It requires a lot of that before we get that acceptance from the community. And once we get there, once we cross that line, no, they become so welcoming already of our presence.
Thank you so much, Sir John. How about Sir Tony? You?
Yeah, I just want to agree. I agree with Rico. Sometimes it's awareness, and beyond awareness, it's a deeper understanding of what it takes to get something done. So because once they're aware, yeah, but when they understand what things need to be done, ang dami palang kailangan gawin. But you really need to have some persistence to be able to do that. That's why we engage them one-on-one. That's why we make client calls. That's why we engage in forums like this. So that's one. But on the reverse, a good help is actually government. So because they're able to, so for example, they're lowering the threshold. So now even households can participate in renewable energy. So parang we welcome these regulations that are actually one step ahead. Although dapat lang talaga sumunod the rest of the industry. Minsan, I think the distribution utility, the transmission grid, and even us as generation companies, we need to be able to be in tandem with the regulations that the government does. That's it.
Thank you very much. Sir Tony, We have Architect Toots.
Okay, in SM, as a private sector, we always support the government mandate when it comes to sustainability awareness. And that's why the private, but sometimes no, for example, there's a project like waste segregation. Now, the private sector may outdo or the government when it comes to that matter because the enforcement is weak. No, sometimes it's weak, not all, no, but sometimes it's weak. So we really have to have awareness, and we have to work with the government as well to how to make this sustainability work. And what's important is we have the determination, commitment to be able to sustain this.
Thank you very much, Architect Toots. It's always a commitment and a shared responsibility. How about you, sir? What has been the biggest challenge in your sector?
So first, I'm grateful and honored to be part of this panel. So I'm happy to represent our university, UST. So maybe on the part of the academe, one of the greatest challenges that I could say is the fragmented approach when it comes to sustainability initiatives. I would say that there's a lot of projects, initiatives that are being done already by different academic units here in our university. But probably one of the challenge is how can we integrate all of them together so that we can have an effective collaborative effort so that all our efforts will lead to something that is really sustainable. So I think it's just about collaboration. It's just about shifting from an isolated effort to a collaborative effort so that we'll have a more effective approach.
Thank you very much, Professor. Sir Philip, what do you want to add?
No, I just wanted to bring out the aspect that I think the leadership also is very important in terms of these companies that are represented here on the stage. Because unless the family that actually is the majority stockholder of the company takes an active interest in how to address sustainability as being part of the way the operations will be run, the initial reaction would always be, especially among the older people, is that kakain sa profit namin yon, di ba? That's not going to be something that's going to be workable in the long run. And yet, these companies have shown resilience within the company itself in terms of the leadership, in terms of how this can go on in the succession that happens. So maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about that from the part of SM, for example. Because I know she works in a company where Chico C is actually the president of that company, no? SM Engineering.
Very hard question. Well, with SM, with the leadership of Mr. Chico C, he would always tell us that, we have to be sustainable. No, we have to be sustainable, but in the case like this, that there is, war in the Middle East, like what we're doing right now in our office, we try to help, the government as well, or by saving electricity. We only open our lights 50%. That's something that we contribute. And there's many more, like we have this carpooling, so that, So that's how we help. And we only pray that, this crisis will be done soon.
In the case of Aboitiz, we have Danelle and Carlos Aboitiz in AboitizPower, no?
Yeah, but I'll try to touch on Aboitiz Foundation work, if I may. No? The entire enterprise of Aboitiz, our corporate social responsibility arm, is with Aboitiz Foundation. And how we do it is 1% of the net income of the entire group goes back to the community by way of funding the initiatives of Aboitiz Foundation. Some of these projects that we call it AFI, some of the projects that AFI will fund are common projects that are implemented all throughout the country. Women empowerment, We have Project AIDA. We install solar panels on schools that are remote. That's Project Aurora. But a good chunk of that budget every year is being given back to the community itself. And we are helping the community determine the projects that they need to be rolled out or that they need to be implemented in their community based on their requirement. So that's how Aboitiz Foundation approaches corporate citizenship and the work that we do in the communities that we operate in.
Tony, you would like to say something about the Zobel?
Yeah, in the case of the Ayalas, by the way, is probably the oldest conglomerate. It's the first and oldest conglomerate at nearly 200 years old by 2030 or something like that. No? So, but in the past 10 years, the Ayalas have started two companies that embody sustainability. The first one is ACEN, which is a renewable energy company. In 2016, we've decided we're going to be going for 100% renewable energy. The second one, more recent, is AC Mobility, which launched brands like BYD and Kia, which are largely now battery electric vehicles, right? So today, if you want to buy a BYD, good luck. It's going to be difficult because the line is fairly long. No? Because people are becoming more conscious of that. No? So I think it's really, Philip is right. It really starts from the top. It comes with a visionary. So I think we're one step ahead maybe in that. Not that we're celebrating it because we really want the whole Philippines to progress on sustainability because we're saving the planet for the next generation. Philip?
Sorry, would you like to ask another question?
Maybe I'd like to add a few insights. Then I'll be asking a question also to our esteemed panelists here. So probably here at the UST, as an educational institution, we also follow what we call the Aquinas framework. So derived from St. Thomas Aquinas. So A stands for air and emissions, Q for quality energy, U for use of resources, I for integrated water, N for net zero goals, A for accountability and sustainability, and S for social advocacy and solidarity. So with that, I'd like to particularly focus it on the role of our office, which is the Simbahayan Community Development Office, which is the primary office that is responsible for the community development, advocacy, and service learning initiatives of the university. And I believe that with our office, we continue to advocate for the sustainable practices that our stakeholders are doing here in the university. So I think that leads me now to my question. So how do you think can your companies collaborate with higher educational institutions or even with other educational institutions so that our efforts would really lead to something that is sustainable, that something that is long-lasting for the benefit of our communities?
So I'll start. So three things. One is, first of all, we supply UST with renewable energy. One, right? So can you give that a big hand, please? It's so UST gets its power from ACEN, number one. Number two, as you saw, we always engage with our partners. So in the case of many schools, we engage with the students in terms of seminars, and they can go to our renewable energy plants. The nearest is in Alaminos. We brought a lot of students in Alaminos, Laguna, which is just an hour here. We brought some students to Guimaras, a fascinating island where you become neighbors with windmills, right? And thirdly is also in terms of, how do you call this? Closely coordinating in terms of the courses. Mapua has come up with a BS in energy, right? And La Salle is also doing a lot of things as far as their courses are concerned. And we get their graduates, right? So we have to engage UST with that. So, but I think on many levels we engage with them. Some schools want solar panels on their rooftops. Not always feasible, but sometimes they are, right? So it's really talking to each other on their needs and what we're able to do. And a lot of times we actually really reach out and extend our hands, with open palms.
In SM, we always reach out, not only to the students or the communities or other companies, but because this is the advocacy of our leader. See, he's an advocate of sustainability. And we do not stop doing this, participating in all these events. And this is a good platform to for people to understand what we're doing. So St. Thomas Aquinas, the logos and all that, we do all that, in fact. And we'd like to continue that by, continuing this effort. Yeah.
Thank you, Architect Toots.
Thank you. Our partnership with various educational institutions happen on multiple levels. Of course, I've already mentioned earlier, we have scholars around the country, and with those scholars, we're trying to, through those scholars, we're trying to send the message of renewable energy and sustainability. We believe that they will be the leaders in the future. We have a Clean Energy Center in Macban that hosts a lot of educational tours for students learning about sustainable energy, renewable energy, and I think to capital off, the best that we do for the communities is really providing clean energy. We call it clean energy. Aboitiz Renewables has the largest energy fleet. We have more than 30 renewable energy facilities across the country. And doon naka-anchor yung maraming efforts namin to support the communities that surround our facilities.
Maybe what would be interesting for the students to hear is for your manpower intake, what sort of degrees do you look for in terms of new employees?
So for ACEN in particular, we're keen on engineers, obviously, and any kind of engineer, but mostly electrical, mechanical, because those are the disciplines needed when you put up windmills and solar plants, right? But our needs are across the board, from HR to marketing to sales to accounting. So we just really want the people with the right mindset and the right profile.
And the industrial engineers will end up being the bosses, no?
Pwede. That's right. So, and they can be, right? So our boss right now is from UANP, and Eric Francha is our president. He started in 2011, and together with the next generation Ayalas, that's Mariana, Jaime Alfonso, and Jaime Urquijo, whom you saw in our videos. So they jointly formulated and came up with ACEN and AC Mobility. So that was still the team.
Thank you. How about with AboitizPower?
Pares naman kami ni Sir Tony na renewable energy companies. Hindi kami nagkakaiba ng requirements, no? Mostly engineering, electrical, mechanical, applicable yon sa various technologies for hydro, solar, wind also we're starting, geothermal. What's important to note for Aboitiz is that we hire locally. We hire products of local universities. Some of our scholars we also hire, but hindi lang naman limited sa engineering field. I myself, I'm an artlet. My degree is in political science from UST, and I'm here with Aboitiz Renewables.
Okay, for SM Supermalls.
Yeah, allow me to add that what's coming up is data science and data analytics, AI, that new field that's coming up very quickly.
For SM Supermalls, besides a master's in shopping or what?
Actually, it's the same, no? We have engineers, architects. We collaborate each other, and not only that, especially with IT. We also have that in our system, and also we are in collaboration with the experts. For example, solar panels, no. So because we are not really the energy company for that, so we collaborate with them, no? And also water, because we have a lot of systems going on right now pertaining to water sustainability. Like we would like to convert, non-potable, like the rains that we collect from our water catchment basins, to convert that into potable. And maybe soon we collect the water from the STP and convert that to potable. So it's happening actually. So that's why it's not only, architects, engineers, but also some of those people that are experts on this area.
You know what, since we're talking with SM right now, for SM ETD, how do you balance, ma'am, commercial objectives with creating spaces that genuinely serve public good, just like the transport hubs or community gathering areas? How do you guys do that?
So when we design, we always balance with business and public good. This is the hallmark of what SM stands for. Serving the mass, or serve the mass. That's SM. So like the transport hub or foot bridges, no? That's a place in front or the forefront of our mall design for convenience, accessibility, safety. And if a space, serves as a community well, then business value follows. So we know we consider the success of our malls if we see people, visiting our malls more often, and that's the way we call them our suki or regulars. So we now consider that our malls are successful.
I'm sorry, but I think we have to close soon because it's a lunch hour, and I'm sure a lot of you kids want to eat your lunch already. But is there any sort of like final last words or takeaways you would like the kids to have from this morning session?
So actually, just dovetailing SM, no? So sometimes when you say you balance business and doing good, right? Actually, we're finding out in sustainability sometimes there's no trade-off. When you switch to renewable energy ka na, you save pa millions for your business. When you drive an electric vehicle, once you're able to drive an electric vehicle, you're not gonna go back to ICE. It's like a computer on wheels. You're talking to it, all your alerts, all of your utos it can be all verbal, right? So there's no trade, and it's cheaper also. So parang the world is being upended and by all of these new technological developments, so that there is no trade-off anymore between sustainability, public good, and customer experience. So I think that's the new normal.
And I think what you also was left unspoken is profitability.
Correct. So that's also embedded.
A company cannot continue practicing sustainability if it isn't making money and surviving, no?
Absolutely.
All right, I think that wraps up our panel discussion this morning. In closing, I just want to sound back to what Secretary Coloma said earlier. And I guess it all ties together our principle from the industries that we have right here, that sustainability is a shared responsibility of everyone. We all take action today so that the future can also enjoy the same or even more resources that we have right now. And for that, can we all give a big round of applause, everyone, to all of our brand partners. And thank you as well to Sir Philip, Sir Jordan, and Manila Bulletin for spearheading this forum and giving this an avenue for a call to action locally and globally. Thank you so much to all of you right now. I'd love for all of you to stay right here in the middle for a photo opportunity with our Manila Bulletin executives. For our first set, we're going to have right here on stage, right here on stage, we're going to call back our brand partners. We have them right here. Joining them as well is none other than Manila Bulletin Executives, you have President Emilio C. Yap III, Secretary Herminio Sonny Coloma Jr., Mr. Jordan Tan, Ms. Irish Lorenzo, Mr. Leslie Araujo, and Ms. Len Amadora. Again, everybody, for the second set of our photos, we have our UST partners joining our brand partners right now. Right here, sir. Thank you so much. Mika. Joining us as well is Ms. Mika from UST. Ms. Mika? Thank you so much, ma'am. Again, to all of you, please don't forget to check out our panel boards over here. They'll be right here posted inside the ballroom for you guys to check out the projects of all of our brand partners. Additionally, those will also be posted at the Tan Yen Key building on May 5 to May 8. So better watch out for all of those panel boards as we showcase the projects of all of our brand partners this afternoon. All right, thank you so much to our Manila Bulletin executives, and thank you as well for all of our brand partners for joining us in our morning session. You may now take your seats. Thank you so much, sirs and ma'ams. But right now is the moment that you guys have been waiting for, because we will now be posting the raffle winners for the morning session. Everybody, we all love winning right here. We all love giving away prizes. So right now, we're going to check out the screen for the raffle winners. And reminder that you guys can claim your raffle prizes at the right side of the panel. On the right side, please claim them up until 1:30 p.m. Who among you won already? Raise your hands, everybody. Who among you won? You won as well. All right. Congratulations to all of our raffle draw winners. Round of applause for them, everyone. Good luck to our afternoon attendees. Congratulations again. Please claim your prizes at the right side of the stage up until 1:30 p.m. And make sure to bring your IDs for verification. And of course, for our CEU students, please stay here at the ballroom for further announcements. All right, everybody, I want to know, are you guys hungry right now? Guys, you still have the energy? You guys are hungry right now, yes or yes? All right, everybody, we're going to break for lunch at this moment. Please be back inside the ballroom at 1:30 p.m. Enjoy your meal, and we'll see you at the forum at exactly 1:30. My name is Robin Ambayan, and this has been your 5th Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum. Enjoy your lunch, everybody. Thank you.